YouTube channel. It started growing, and then started Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, and those all started growing. So kind of just grew from there. And then with that, the business aspirations, we saw right away that it was going to be profitable, especially doing specialty stuff. So I have an identical twin brother who's my business partner. So luckily he funds the operation. I just have to do all the work. So much easier that way. On and doing all that stuff, and Jake makes the money, and we both work full time currently. But so our aspirations is really to kind of be a zero waste mill. We have a pellet press that's going to be here delivered this coming up week. We have some big things happening in the backgrounds to the social media and moving things along on an avenue. And our goal is to try to do a biomass pellet making zero waste sawmill. Once we get that up and running and be profitable, we want to try to duplicate that as many times as possible. So we have really big aspirations of moving this thing as big as possible, and got to start somewhere. Even GP started with a log yard, so, and now obviously are a multi-billion-dollar company. So that's kind of where I plan on going with it. So if I fall short, I'm going to land somewhere in the stars if I shoot for another planet. So it's kind of where I'm going with that.
Excellent. So you recently purchased the Norwood?
Yeah, had the Norwood since February. So got the Norwood in February, then upgraded to fully hydraulic because that was kind of what I wanted to do. We were on a manual mill before and wanted to be able to do more production, much bigger logs, because the L215, we just had a classic, and it's only capable of cutting 26, 27 inches wide. So, and physically turning logs that big by yourself with just manpower is can be difficult. So we wanted definitely a better setup there. So luckily, thanks to some awesome stuff with the social media, I was able to make that happen with Norwood. So they were super gracious to look in my direction, and we got some things going, and it's helped out quite a bit. So I'm
nice.
Ready, eager for more.
Okay. So you said you were specialty milling. What are you trying to focus on?
Focusing on obviously your live edge slab type stuff. So I just got like a 38-inch pecan dropped off at the property. It's like 11 and a half feet long. So he wants me to cut basically 2 live edge slabs out of that. Probably going to slab off part of it with a chainsaw mill first. And then he wants me to make some legs out of it, 4x6s, and couple slabs out of it. So stuff like that. And we have a lot of white oak available in our area, a lot of pecan available in our area, like a lot of it. I have a really good friend of mine that has a 98 acre tract that he has loads of pecan, and it's like, man, the deer hate the pecan. You can cut every one of them suckers. So I was like, I will come cut them suckers. No problem. If you're going to give them to me, buddy, I'll come cut them down.
Sure. So, absolutely.
But
now you said you're going to make it.
And then S4S, we have a kiln. We do have a wood kiln. So we have a Nile 12x16 that myself and Jake actually built out. So R30 insulation from the ground up. And to put the L200M in there, and then we also put 3 fans in there. We took basically 20% pine down to about 8% in about 3 days. So wow. I was quite shocked at how fast it dried out in that kiln. That tells me we did a pretty good job of insulating. We coated the entire inside of that thing with elastomeric paint as well. So we got R30 from the top to bottom, including the ceiling, and then 2x6s in the walls, so studs, and then foam board on top of that. Obviously your vapor barrier, and then we have our plywood as well. So we sealed that sucker up tight, and it works. Even I think 2 days after we turned it off, because we let it settle out, it was still 105 degrees in there after turning it off for 2 days. So
Wow.
it maintains heat pretty well. Of course, I'm in Texas, so it's about 9,000 degrees all the time anyway. I'm sure Neil can identify with being, in the South, man. Like it's
absolutely. I'm very anxious to get my kiln running. Also, I have to tidy up the wire and probably tomorrow evening or Monday morning. I built a 28-foot chamber with the 200 Pro, and I'm ready to get that jugger fired off.
I'm telling you, Neil, like the quickness this thing dries is gonna shock you.
Right.
Obviously, we put a load of stickers in there before we put anything else in there, and it dried those stickers out so fast. Of course, we left it in 1-by, so we could just slice it up on the sawmill afterwards. But it dried them things out with a quickness.
I'm ready.
Huge game changer there, man. Like we got lots of things happening, lots of moving parts, and obviously you guys know this is a full-time job sawing. So I work full-time, do social media full-time, and saw full-time. So I basically just don't sleep. I guess I can do that when I'm dead.
Yep,
for sure.
So you touch base on it being a no waste mill. You want to go in a little further depth about your waste off the mill, the sawdust, and
obviously, as a lot of guys have seen, you'll see, we'll take a slab off of the mill. You'll have your flitches or whatever the case may be, and that a lot of guys will just burn it or throw it away because there's not really a lot you can do with it without an edger or something like that. So what we've done is we've got a wood chipper that will chip some of that stuff up. So we're looking at getting a biomass plant that can take chips and also pellets. So we're going to basically power our operation with a biomass plant. And
Nice.
Myself and Jake are both nerds. So if we can't purchase one, we're going to build one. Because Jake was a nuclear engineer in the Navy, and we're pretty nerdy guys, and we're pretty handy as well. So we're going to build one if we can't buy one.
As far as your wood chipping goes, have y'all seen how's the sales been on your wood chips? Have you tried to sell it yet?
The wood chips in our area, it depends on where you take them, Neil. So I actually work at a paper mill.
Right.
So they will buy chips from you, but you have to have a live trailer, a live bottom trailer. Essentially, you're going to have an 18-wheeler setup with a live bottom, or they won't even fool with you. Luckily, the timber tract and stuff that we're getting the wood from, they're all certified and all that stuff, because you have to be approved vendor prior to even going into any of these places. And best case scenario, if you're going in there with a trailer full of oak chips, you're looking at maybe $65 a ton for oak chips. So to be competitive with that, you'd have to have realistically a $500,000 operation to make any kind of money doing it. There's
as far as like wood,
Joe is not going to do that.
Like mulch or something like that. Have you tried?
Yeah,
to sell?
I mean, the mulch market and sawdust market is actually a lot better than would be for carrying just literal chips to a mill, because we have several biomass plants that are near us, but they just don't pay very well.
Right. I think we have right here down the road from us, we have one of the largest, if not the largest, pellet plant in the country. It's just been up running in the last couple of years. And that's why I was wondering. I haven't ever tried to mulch anything. I don't have a mulcher. But I'm about like you. You cut all that southern yellow pine, and what do you do with all the scabs? I mean, it's so hot down here. Nobody has fires, and you really not necessarily wanting to burn that inside. So I just pile it up and have bonfires all the time.
Yeah, we keep it typically kind of like two guys, like Dan and Jay, they keep a fire running. We typically will do that. But I've been saving the vast majority of my flitches just because we know that we're going to transition to the biomass plant. And there was a company that makes them that took theirs off the market, and they recently put it back on the market, and that's All Power Labs. And it's a 25 kilowatt unit that you can basically feed chips or wood pellets, and it'll give you power back. Now, obviously, you have to be running a big enough operation to be able to feed that. But
Right.
You could power your whole operation, like say your kiln. I know Eric, like as much as wood as you guys are cutting, and same thing with Craig, the amount of money that you would save not having to pay for your electricity bill, because that kiln, she likes power.
Oh yeah.
She's gonna down. Being able to power that and not have to pay for it out of pocket, that's a huge overhead that you don't have to worry about. So that's kind of why we're going in that direction. And with the no waste initiatives and doing stuff like not so much green energy, but just having the ability to be able to be independent of power. That's a big thing for me. Just not having to rely on the grid, especially, I don't know how you guys are, but they're less than reliable a lot of times. So that's kind of why we're going in that direction as well. There's also a lot of USDA grants that you can get if you go in that direction. I don't know if you guys caught the Jennifer Auger was on the Woodmiser podcast recently, and she was talking about grants. There's a lot of stuff that is possible out there, even for guys that are our size. A lot of us don't necessarily look at it, but it's definitely possible. And each state will have something like that too. So you got to look at your state level and also the federal level, because wood products, believe it or not, gentlemen, it is the future. I don't know if you guys have heard of mass timber, but it's coming. I'm surprised that in some of your little more blue or left-leaning states that they haven't mandated it yet. But I'm going to bet dollars to donuts within the next decade it's probably going to be mandated, just because it's cheaper to build with. And you can basically go from no house to house in like a week. So it's going to save a lot of time, and a lot of, obviously we know there's a housing crisis. We don't have enough housing currently. So we're going to be the forefront of that. And that's kind of why I really like being a part of this group and being a part of just the community in general, because we are going to be the future. And having a good group of guys like you and, Dan, Jay, all those guys, basically the group of us that kind of get together and do this. It's going to be a big, big deal. So,
well, trees are one of our renewable resources, and they were saying that 40 years ago when they were trying to replace everything with plastic.
Yeah, I don't think plastic is so much valuable. Maybe carbon fiber, but I don't think you're going to build a house with carbon fiber. How do you weight it down?
Yeah, I tell people we're the ultimate recycler.
Yep. I like that one. You can print wood in 3D.
Right, print wood in 3D. I wouldn't.
Well, they already have those. They already have that plastic decking material, right?
Yeah, I've seen the plastic decking, and I'm not a fan of it, just because, coming from a long line of guys that work in the woods and been in and out of the woods, man, I would rather deal with something God created rather than man created. So obviously God created man too, but he's a lot better at it than we are.
Somebody want to take care of that cheetah puma comment, please?
I'll take care of it.
Sometimes we get the nutcases.
It's John's fault.
It's not my fault this time. It wasn't on my channel, I don't think.
He came in right behind you, John.
So using biomass to power your place, what would you do? Like convert it to steam?
So basically what it is, it's a gasifier. So it runs turns the fire into gasification, and then it'll take that gasification and run a generator. And the generator is what actually runs the power. So It's basically a self-contained gasification unit. I want to say the guys that made it, or at least the U.S. partner that made it, is out of Berkeley, California. So got a bunch of nerds over there that decided that, hey, we want to have a green initiative from something like that. It's ironic that it takes a renewable resource in order to be green, but it does create also something that a lot of soil needs which is biochar. So biochar is a big deal for farmers, stuff like that, because it puts nitrogen back in the soil. I know the state of Texas in general is looking at that pretty heavily for guys that are going to do biomass or be able to do biochar. They're wanting to be able to get that back. Or, if you're going to sell it, it could be profitable as well. So that's kind of why, just being a good steward of the lands for one, but another reason why we want to be able to do it is so we can give back to our soil, and make it more profitable for farmers in the area and try to grow our community. After serving nearly 22 years in the Navy, my goal has always been to continue serving my community in whatever way I can. And one way I can do that is to cut lumber, and another way I can do that is to help farmers be able to grow better crops. And anything that we can do to help our local community, we're going to do.
Absolutely.
Me and my brother kind of joked around. Our goal is to have our name on the local high school football stadium. I want that sucker with my name on it.
I'm interested in that system you're talking about, especially. I already cut like tomato sticks for a pretty big farmer, and like you say, and being off grid and empowering your own place, being more independent of your own stuff, it would be a good thing.
Yeah, it's pretty pricey. I think they're about anywhere from 65 to 75K. So it is an investment, but doing the USDA loan or like a wood innovations grant, something along those lines, or even your state level, they would probably help you with that, to be honest. The research that I've done, they're typically going to fund at least half of that with an initiative like that, because not only will that unit power your kiln and probably power your whole entire homestead, you're going to sell power back to the grid. It's 25 kilowatt reactor, essentially, is what it is. It's going to put out 25 kilowatts of power. The kiln does not use that much wattage. You could run everything full bore, and you won't even touch that. So instead of having to pay money for your kiln, you're going to basically be selling back power to the grid. And they have an option to where you can hook it back to the grid. So,
and where I am, we have hurricanes, and as far as I am off of the main line, I'll be the last one to have power. So I need a generator operation anyway. Where I am.
Yeah, that's another thing too. I mean, it's being where I'm at, we get a lot of rain pretty frequently. I think in the last 2 years we've probably had 72 to 80 inches of rain per year. So it can knock out power pretty frequently because it's so wet all the time. Yeah. Trees are down, falling on power lines, stuff like that. And depending on which side of the road you're on, one side of the road is a different power company than the other side of the road. One side is decent, and the other side never has power. Like if you sneeze wrong, you done lost power. So,
well, Joshua, we have one other Texan on here that has disagreement with you. I'll pop his comment up there on the screen. Can you see the comment?
We need to burn wood to get gas. Just 10 foot behind the house. Okay, there's gas everywhere. True. That's we definitely got gas, but it's different when you're getting gas or using gasification. So you're using a product that most of us would consider to be possibly waste, and you take that waste and you turn it into power. So rather than literally setting it on fire and burning it in a pile where you don't glean any of the power from it, you take that, put it into a gasification unit, and then it gives you power, and you can give power back to the grid. So while we do have definitely gas in our backyard for sure, my twin brother just recently went back to pipeline inspection. He's done plenty of that. So we definitely got gas, but gas is a little bit different than gasification.
I got a quick question for you.
Yes, sir.
Most of the pictures I've seen in Texas, it's pretty barren of trees. What section are you in?
So I'm in Southeast Texas. It's called the Big Thicket area. My 12.42 acre property has currently standing about 144,000 board feet of southern yellow pine. And that's just pine. And then when you consider the scarlet oak, we have red oak, white oak. And I probably have if I were guessing, probably have $500,000 worth of holly on my property. American holly is the whitest wood naturally known to man, and it's very, very, very expensive.
I know you're new to kiln drying. Have you dried any oak yet?
We have, yeah, we've dried some oak. Now we're drying that stuff, air dried at first. So we're going to air dry that white oak for about 3 months prior to putting it to the kiln. Because if you try to do anything other than that, it's not going to come out good for you. It's particularly white oak. Pecan is kind of squirrely as well. You got to take your time with it and got to baby it. There's some others that you got to baby. Hickory is kind of like that as well. You know, kind of what we do is we've got 3 pallets of concrete weight. Literally, we just bought concrete blocks and we'll weight that stack down. Once we get it stacked and stickered inside the kiln, we'll lay 3 pallets of that stuff. It's about, I want to say it's about 2,800 pounds on top of the stack of wood to keep it flat.
That's right, John.
Your oak species, just they're hard. Unfortunately, we have to dry a lot of ours from, green all the way to 6%, and it takes a lot of time, a lot of patience. I'd rather air dry everything for 6 months, but you just don't always have time.
Yeah, obviously time is our biggest enemy in anything we do. It's having a big enough yard to do that. We're fortunate to have the acreage, 12.42 acres there. I think Neil's got a big enough spread. He could do something similar. He said he has a 28-footer on his kiln. That is a goal. Eventually, we want to get a bigger kiln as well. So, and with it, how long it took us to build our kiln out, I'm buying a shipping container and I'm building that sucker out like that next time, man. It takes so freaking long.
It takes a lot of time. I put on mine for quite some time, and especially when you're just trying to fit it in with everything else and not hire somebody just to come throw that thing up. You try, being small and growing, you try to save as much money as you can by doing things yourself, but things start piling up on your head quick.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Being a full-time worker, a full-time dad, full-time, social media guy, and I still have to manage to saw plenty of lumber. So it's time, like I said, that's the one luxury I don't have a lot of. And I try not to waste it if I can help it. Every once in a while, the wife will harp on me and be like, "Babe, I haven't seen you in like 2 weeks." I'm like, "Well, shit. All right. Well, I guess I'll try to get a little better at it," or whatever the case may be. She'll beat on me a little bit, but take her out when I can.
Just keep working harder, then you can get rid of that corporate job, and it's a whole lot easier.
Eventually, that's the goal. Is we want to try to get there. Obviously, we want to try to make this as big as possible. So we want to transition from that. The good thing is, I have a decent job, so that job will pay the bills until I'm ready to transition. Unless something catastrophic happens, then feet to the fire. I've always managed to find success no matter what I've done, so I'm pretty sure we'd be all right. But I'd rather plan my escape than have to do it on the run.
Yep.
Okay, Joshua, I got a couple of questions here that are popping up. I'm going to pop one up there for you. If you can answer that one real quick.
Okay. How much power in and out do we need to preheat? So your power in and out on that, you can actually use that All Power Labs to actually preheat your kiln as well. So that's another byproduct of being able to use a unit like that or using biomass in general. And there's 2 different ways you can do it. If you don't have the money to spend $65,000 or $75,000 on a biomass unit, you can create a gasification unit on your own. It's not overly complicated, believe it or not. Basically, you're just taking gases that you're burning, and obviously you want it to be as good as fuel as possible, and you're going to take that gas to power a generator. And there are generators currently on the market that you can get that are relatively cheap that will run off of that gasification. The ones that'll run off of your gas now, that you can buy at Home Depot or Lowe's or whatever other big box store, those a lot of them have the option to be able to run off of gas. Will it be as efficient? Where if you were to do gasoline or diesel or whatever the case, probably not. But will it run? 100%. It will definitely run and create power. And with that too, you can use that heat to heat water. And then if you heat water, obviously we know what water can create. You can create steam, and you can create a steam generator as well. So there's a lot of different ways you can kind of go about it with generating power. With Jake being a nuclear engineer, he's this big brain. He's like, well, it's big brain, but it's also pretty simple. Hot rock, make water boil, water turns into steam, and then make stuff go round and round, and that round and round creates power. So it's kind of what we did on my first ship. I was on a steam driven ship, and we use steam to drive our turbines, and the turbines create power.
Right.
And that was to give us propulsion, and also we had steam generators for just power as well. That way we're a self-contained unit, because out in the ocean you can't connect to the grid, like you're it. So
okay,
So-
we got another question here, and I just want this guy to clarify this. It's brown dwarf. Why not try planting other trees in America? If you
planting other trees in America, I mean, that's pretty broad. Believe it or not, there's actually more trees on the planet Earth right now than there ever has been in human history. So I get a lot of those comments on my social media. I'm sure you guys see those as well, especially those of us that are sawing wood and putting that online. We'll get haters every once in a while that's like, why are you sawing this great tree up? Well, there's more trees now than there ever was in human history. And thanks to this tree, you're going to have paper, and you're also going to have a lot of other things too. So that never was a paper product made that didn't come from a tree. And I know we're trying to be digital, but we use more paper now than ever before. Use paper plates, paper cups. Any kind of package you get from the store that's going to be coming from a paper mill, and that paper is generated from a tree. It's literally wood fibers that are laid down over the top of one another in a specific orientation with a formula that they have that lays them down, and they dry it out. It's a pretty amazing process to see paper go from 97% water, when you're at the what we call the wet end of a paper mill. By the time it gets to the other end, it's paper, and I'm talking rugged paper. And it is amazing stuff. You would think that it would be much simpler. It's not. We probably have, just thinking in general, we have probably about 25 process engineers. We're talking about guys with chemical engineering degrees, mechanical engineering degrees, electrical engineering degrees that are thinking about these problems all the time, how to improve processes. And that all goes into making paper. And then you have guys that literally go to college to learn how to make paper. So, that's typically your operations management type guys, and then your guys that are actually managing the machines. You typically are going to have a college degree, or they've been in industry 30, 40 years. So it's a lot more complicated than what one might think. When I transitioned from the Navy, I was like, oh, well, it's making paper. It can't be that hard. I was wrong.
With all them trees,
excuse me just a minute, guys. John.
Yep.
John, did you put those comments up in front of you like that?
Yep. I think so.
Oh, okay. I'm just making sure.
Yep.
All right, go ahead.
That's fine. I don't mind.
Okay, so this guy that asked about planting other trees in America, he also made another statement. Brown dwarf. He's gone now, but he said, why not start by planting cedar trees? They're tropical. I don't understand what he was getting at.
Well, I mean, those of us that have done any fair amount of sawing wood and know anything about trees, or just the ground in general, other trees don't like cedar trees. Most of us know that. And when you plant a cedar tree, there's not much going to grow around that cedar tree, not even grass. So it's very nitrogen heavy. It's very acidic. So when you plant cedar trees, I hope you don't like grass because you're not going to have any of it. So there's give and take to everything that we do. You know, decisions obviously kind of what you want. It makes beautiful wood, yes, but if you want to grow anything around it, you're not doing it around a cedar tree. You're going to need to go somewhere else because it taints the soil.
Eric, you just killed a cedar tree, didn't you?
Yeah.
You made a little money off of that, didn't you?
Our cedar is no good around here. It's got some kind of fungus blight. And I made a video on why we don't buy cedar and showed people, you know, a beautiful log, but once you open it up, it's just so full of defects. I can't sell it. That's good for customers. They can take it home, they can chop it up and use what they can use. But when I hand somebody a board and half of it's no good, well, I can't get regular price for that board. So I just don't fool with it. And
Obviously, Eric, you don't have a crafter's box.
Our cedar's the same way here, Eric. I mean, it's just what red cedar you have most of the time has a lot of heart rot in it.
Yep, it's just not worth the trouble.
Yeah, by the time it gets big enough to saw, it's got a lot of heart rot. So I mean,
sell what grows in your area. You know, what grows here is different from the guys up in New York, and probably a little different from what Texas has. We have big poplars. Do you have any big poplars down there in Texas?
We do. We have a lot of poplar. Luckily, I'm close to the Trinity River. So we have a lot of like swampy, slough-like areas. So we have a lot of tulip poplar, which is
Yeah,
like
they won't grow if they don't have some water.
Yeah. I'm going to tell you right now, gentlemen, like this thing surprised when I popped open that tulip poplar for the first time, I thought something had happened. The smell that came out of that wood, I was like, what, is there something wrong? Like I thought we had a gas leak. Like I didn't know what was happening. It smells so bad. Like I was very, very shocked. And the amount of moisture that's in there is obviously it's coming from a swampy area, but apparently it just soaks up all of the nutrients of that soil and decides to put it out via smell.
Box elder is pretty bad. Don't know if you cut it.
Yeah. I haven't cut any box elder yet, and we have some around here. We have black locust around here too, and I've heard it's pretty hard. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff I'm looking forward to cutting for sure. I cut a lot of cedar when I first started.
Only thing you'll find harder than that black locust is some of that mesquite you have in Texas.
We being where I'm at, I don't have a lot of mesquite in my area because we're southeast Texas. Now, if I go central Texas or go out west, like my sister has a pretty large property, and they have a bunch of tall shrubs out there that they call trees. You know, they got mesquite out there. Yeah, we had it. So obviously being in the Navy, I moved around a lot, and I was recruiting actually out of Mesquite, Texas. And obviously there's a lot of mesquite around there and the outlying areas. So Mesquite's like a suburb of Dallas. So it's in the outskirts of Dallas on the east side of Interstate 20. And basically they have a bunch of tall shrubs out there too, and most of it's mesquite.
Yeah,
now, Josh, you mentioned a pellet press at the beginning. Is that for our wood pellet stoves?
So we're going to, we actually literally just struck a deal today with one of our local hardwood cutters. And they cut mostly oak, about 90% oak. We're going to take that sawdust and turn that into oak pellets. So I don't know if you guys, what you know about mushroom growing, but most of those guys use oak pellets to grow their mushrooms in. That's the substrate they use in order to be able to grow mushrooms. And we're talking high-end lion's mane, shiitake, like your mushroom growers. Typically they're going to want a blend that they know is consistent. And obviously you got to kiln dry it. So we're going to kiln dry the sawdust and then put it into pellets as well. So that way there's no bugs, there's no fungus or anything in there. Get it down to, it doesn't have to be super, super dry, about 12% moisture. And then by the time you put it through the press, it's gonna be it gets up to about 250 degrees when you press it in that pellet press. So
Drying that
Yeah, I was going to
saw,
say.
drying
They
that
get
sawdust,
warm.
you have to have some kind of tumbler or something to get an even dry through that.
So our plan with that, because we just secured the ability to be able to get like 2,000 pounds of it, a ton of it's $15 for sawdust, and to dry that much
Thank you, John.
dust, we're like, okay, now
Catch 'em.
big brain, how do we figure out how to dry this stuff before we put it in the kiln and blow it all over God's creation, because now it's dust. So we're going to take high temp mesh that will keep that sawdust basically from blowing all over the place, because obviously your kiln has a lot of air movement. So that way we can still get air into it, but it won't come out of it. So one way that we can do that, Neil, is greenhouses.
Right.
So build a greenhouse, you spread that sawdust out to where it can actually get airflow and sunlight on it, and it'll dry way faster. Like, obviously we're around sawdust all the time. All of you guys know this. It dries pretty quick. Once it's exposed to the air and to the sunlight, it's going to dry out very, very quick.
I've seen where they rake them seeds and stuff overseas. They just got them spread out in them big warehouses, and they go raking and flipping and shoveling, and I guess once or twice a day. I didn't know.
Yeah, you're going to have to flip it for sure. So kind of what we plan on doing, that we're going to have a system to where we can rotate the dust or chips. So we've also thought about doing a hammer mill as well. So taking chips, put those chips into a hammer mill, and the hammer mill will create sawdust. So by the time you actually get to your dust portion, it's already dry. You know, that if you dry your chips out, you know, to your moisture level, because it's a lot harder to blow chips around a kiln than it is to blow sawdust around the kiln. So
just be
dry
careful.
those chips out, and
Be careful of that super dry sawdust.
Oh yeah, that's called fire. Yeah.
Well, it's worse than fire. It's explosive.
Yeah. That, and you got to make sure that
5-6%, you can make something go boom that shouldn't.
Especially with biomass, where you're doing a gasification, you gotta have stuff planned out pretty well, or you can make yourself not exist anymore in an instant.
Yeah. All right, another question up there. I don't think that he knows that they make pellet mills.
They do, yes. There's actually several different places you can get them. A company called Mealco makes them. They make a pretty big pellet mill. And then also we got ours, I want to say it was like USA Pellets or something along those lines. And they're affordable. The pellet press that we got was, I want to say after shipping, was around $4,000. So it's not overly expensive, and it'll process, I want to say it's about 300 pounds per hour, and turn that into pellets. So
300 pounds of kiln dried sawdust, or what?
Kiln dried sawdust. Yeah. It'll turn, that into 300 pounds of pellets per hour. So when you're looking at anywhere from 40 cents to about 75 cents per pound, you're doing all right. And that's just with sawdust, something that all of us would most of the time consider to be waste. That way, like I said in the beginning, we want to try to be as low waste as possible. So we're using our chips, using our sawdust, use the flitches to turn into either chips or sawdust, whatever the case may be. So, or you can turn that into animal as well.
Yeah. I'm actually shocked. I've seen a pellet mill in action, and as hot as they get, I'm surprised that the pellets don't come out dry without kiln drying the sawdust first.
They'll still have some moisture in there if you don't dry them first. They get up to about 250 degrees. Obviously, that much friction going through there, it's going to create a lot of heat. But it won't dry that pellet all the way out. And I can tell you, because we've talked to 3 or 4 different mushroom growers, and they're like, look, if you don't dry those pellets out, when we get them, they'll just crumble. And we need them to do that over time instead of immediately. So if you don't have the right kind of formula in there of kind of what you're doing with that, then it won't be
Yeah.
dry enough for them to use it long term. And we're talking about guys that buy anywhere from 13,000 to 18,000 pounds of this every 3 months. So it could be very, very lucrative. This is a multi-billion dollar industry just selling chips to as substrate.
It seems like it's a very, very niche business to get into, but it can be profitable.
I mean, what we're doing is niche as well. I mean, but it's obviously you find a way to make a living. You know, you find a way to carve out what you want to do with it. And that's, I know John put up some of the questions kind of before we started, you know, the actual roundtable here, like how do you price out your stuff per board foot types? You know, it's really, it depends on you individually. Obviously you're going to have a local market, but I'm kind of the mind of Chris Standard from Standard Living Homestead. Don't let the local market set your prices. You set prices based off of what it's going to take for you to be profitable. And, you know, in the game of sales, some will, some won't. Who cares who's next? You know, and that's when I was a recruiter in the Navy. You talk to a lot of people. Not everybody is going to want to do it. Just like our product, not everybody's going to want to buy it, but they're going to be people that do want to buy it. And we have an advantage, those of us on the roundtable, because we're also, a lot of us are filming this stuff. So you're not just buying wood, you're buying a story. We know where the wood came from. We know where the trees came from. We know who sawed it up because, well, we did. And every piece of lumber, as we know, has a story, all of it. So
that's what I tell people that all the time. You know, what makes what I'm doing for you different. You know, if I turn your wood into a tongue and groove and you put it on the ceiling or you put it on the walls or we make hardwood flooring out of it, that wood's got a story to you that it don't have to me or nobody else. And when you build that house, you'll tell people that that's grandma's oak tree you're walking on, or that's, you know, the cherry tree out back that's on the wall. And you'll have that story for the rest of your life. You go to Lowe's and buy that crap, it's on the wall, but you don't talk about it. You don't talk about the sheetrock you put in your house, but you will talk about that beautiful tree that your great-great-grandfather planted, and it's in your house now.
Right. That's one of the things that I love about this is we got a pecan dropped off today, and this pecan is 38 inches on the big end and about 36 inches on the small end. And this gentleman literally is leaving a legacy for his family. He was like, I'm not going to do anything with it, but I know that my kids or somebody in my family may want to do something with it. And he wanted me to come saw it up. He saw that I had a sawmill. He stopped by, saw me out there, and was like, you know, what would it take for me to get this milled up? I was like, well, you bring it over here and I'll saw that sucker up. That's what it takes. He's going to keep the lumber out of it. So I'm just going to charge him per hour to saw it up. And, you know, I told him, I'm like, look, I'll be more than fair on what I charge you. Especially because we're kind of experimenting with this. I've never done chainsaw milling before. So we're going to mill out 2 slabs of it with a chainsaw first. And then I'm going to slab out some 4x6s and then some 5/4 out of it as well. So
how wide can you saw on your Norwood?
So I can put a 38-inch log on there, but it's only going to saw about 35.5 inches at any given time. That's as wide as I go, but it'll cut 14 inches deep. So that's one of the reasons why I decided to go with that Norwood over others. One, it was affordable. 2, I can saw 14 inches deep. So the ability to be able to quarter saw now becomes viable rather than trying to create some kind of contraption that, you know, a NASA engineer designed to be able to quarter saw stuff without killing myself on a manual saw.
Well, I've got some big ones out here. There'll be a video out here in another month or so. 48-inch white oak. It's got to be quarter saw.
How are you going to turn it? Like,
I'm gonna drill a hole in it and put some poo-poo in it, and it's gonna go boom.
Poo-poo, huh?
I got 3 of them. A
Oh,
good
geez.
friend of mine dropped them off. He called me and said, I got some big white oak. Can you saw them? I said, yeah. He dropped them off. I said, buddy, you pushing our friendship to the top.
Yeah,
That's too much to chainsaw mill. That's what.
Oh,
man. I
I
mean,
ain't sawing that crap.
there's guys that do it. There's a guy, I don't know if you've ever seen his YouTube channel. It's called Belco Wood. That dude saws stuff that's like 6 feet wide. You know, he does that with a big 881 steel or something like that.
I'm not
And that's got to
against
take
doing it.
an eternity.
There's just no money in our market here. Now, if we were closer to Charlotte or closer to Atlanta or Chicago, you know, take your big city. Yeah. But where we're out in the country, the number of people who's going to spend $10,000 for a slab.
I got a
Number one,
stack,
they don't have the money to do that, Eric.
Yeah.
I got a stack of pecan slabs right now. We cut on the Lucas slabber mill. They're close to 6 feet wide and 11 feet long, and we cut them 4, some of them 5 inches thick. They're air. They're
How hard is pecan, guys?
it's
Very.
I mean, it's in the same family as the hickory tree.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
horrible.
okay. So
That
it's
gotta
like
be
a-
hard.
Yeah, absolutely. It's really hard.
But can you move enough of those slabs to make it worth the time and effort taking up space in your
Well,
limited storage area?
Thomas had the mill, and I didn't want to let the log go to waste, and it was given to me, so I went over there, slid it on that skid steer. We had to put the end of it on the trailer, chain it, slide this is a 100-horse skid steer, and slide the other end, chain it, and walk that log all the way on that gooseneck trailer to get that log up there. But we cut it, we milled it. It's some beautiful stuff. But man, to move a piece like that, you got to have a tractor. I mean, there's no other way to do it.
Yeah, there's
Something
enough
pretty
people in my
substantial.
area that already do that. I'm not going to invest the time and effort to try to compete with them. Do what works in your area. Now, if you can do them, and you can get
100%.
if
I
you
would
can get
love-
$3,000, $4,000, $5,000 for a slab, all day long.
I'd love to
That's
find
true.
somebody that could build me a beautiful dining room table and trade for a slab or two. That's what I'm looking for, so I can get rid of that stuff. I need to get rid of it.
That's what you run into. It takes up space.
It does.
Yeah,
It's
we're about an hour, little over an hour outside of Houston, and there's a lot of money, a lot of oil money in that area. There's a lot of oil money near me. My mill is actually located in Thicket, Texas, Noble, Thicket, Texas. So, how fitting for a sawmill to be in Thicket. So
With no bolt.
we have it's like Beaumont, Port Arthur, Orange. That's what's considered the Golden Triangle. There's a lot of oil industry, oil refining in that area. So there's a lot of high-end buyers in the area. And if you make a quality product, they will pay you for it.
Yeah.
And there's literally only one competitor on the east side of Houston, and they sell a lot of wood. A lot of wood.
There you go,
Okay.
Neil.
I see that, Mr. Floyd. I'm going to have to give him a shout.
I want you to see that.
We can build it together.
He just moved up to Tennessee. He just got up there. He got situated in Tennessee.
I find around here, if I'm going to sell slabs, I try to keep them around 30, 32 inches. And it keeps the price down to where people can buy them. And if they want to make a table, it just takes 2 slabs and you've got a 50-inch wide table. And they don't take up near as much space, and they're not a man killer trying to move them.
Oh yeah, I'm not moving anything with my human person. I mean, I'm a strong guy, but we got machines for that.
I don't have to prove
Yeah.
to you I can move it. I got hydraulics for a reason.
Correct. That's correct. Yeah. My dad always told us, work smarter, not harder. And
Yeah.
that mechanical advantage, that machine's way, way stronger than me. All of my boys are super strong. All of them like power lifters and all that. I have that DNA, but I'm not trying to use my body. I'd rather use my brain.
Now we cut 8x8s and 10x10s all the time. Put the log on there, get all your waste off, and then push the cant right back on the tractor and haul it out. I ain't manhandling it.
I cut some white oak for a guy, and they were 8x8s, and he came over and he thought he was just going to lift these things up and put them in his truck. And he wanted it green. You know, he was like, yeah, I just need green. It just green rough cut. And, you know, I sold it to him at green rough cut prices. And he came and grabbed a hold of one of those things. And, you know, I've got 2 boys and myself. And he was like, man, I didn't realize this was going to be that heavy. I was like, yeah, buddy, it's green. It's not dry yet.
It's almost 6 pounds a board foot wet.
Yeah. He snatched a hold of it and was like, I was not expecting that at all.
Neil, do you know what an F20 stake is?
I have no idea. I don't know.
Me either.
I got an idea, but I can't say it on here.
Oh,
What, the vampire was too big, so he needed an F20? I don't know, Brett. You're on your own on that one, pal.
Neil, you guys deal with a lot of moisture in your area. Like, I mean, is that something that is concerning for you having the kiln? Or, I mean, we're pretty similar with our climate.
I know in the middle of the summer, the dog days of summer, it's hard to even air dry pine. I mean, I usually cut it and stick it straight in the kiln, just outside with fans on it or whatever. I still have a mold issue. So when I cut, I try to go straight into the kiln to go ahead and knock when I was running my solar kiln to go ahead and knock that moisture down. I don't cut a whole lot of hardwood at all. I have a pile of red oak that I plan on making my hardwood floors in my house with that we're currently building. And I will do a video on that when the time comes. But yes, the moisture could be 90% in the middle of the summer. I mean, you got to cut your way through it.
Only thing worse than your yellow pine is white pine.
Yeah.
That stuff will turn black mold in one day.
Yep.
That's
And see, I talked to Ian for Nile Kilns the other day, just kind of touching base with him. He is the wood drying technician or whatever. And I told him my whole kiln set up. My doors right now are not insulated. I was going to insulate them, and I told him where I was and my temperature and all that. And I was going to insulate my doors, and he said, "Well, you might have a problem keeping everything down because I mean, outside temperatures 90, 95, heat index 110 degrees in the middle of the summer. So I may not. We're going to see how things work out before I completely insulate them doors."
What's your cold temperature in wintertime? 40, 45?
You have cool. Yeah, I mean,
you'll want them insulated
in the wintertime.
Yeah, just go ahead and insulate it. You won't regret it.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, you can turn that heat off in the kiln, Neil.
Right.
So basically what you can do is you can turn off your condenser unit, your heat unit,
right,
and it'll cool down. So
I do have the concrete insulated, which they said I probably didn't have to do that because the ground temperature don't really get that cold. But I went ahead and insulated it.
I didn't insulate mine, but
I went ahead and because that's what they recommended, so I did.
Yeah, you're gonna be running a 200, right?
Yeah, the 200 Pro.
Okay. When you put that thing in there and you set your temperature and you turn the exhaust fans on,
right,
when that thing gets up to temperature, it will let it go. You know, say you're set at 100, it may let it go 101, 102.
Right.
As soon as you hit that 102, it's going to turn on the exhaust fan
and pull that.
It's going to blow out that 102 degree air that's real moist, and it's going to suck in your 90 degree air and cool your kiln down. It walks a pretty good balance. Wintertime, I never run my overtemp vents because it's cold.
That's right, it's cold.
But this time of year, especially hardwoods, you better run them or you'll get it too hot too quick.
Yeah,
and the problem is not the heat with the pine. The problem is you'll bring the heat up and it pulls all the water out, and now you've turned your kiln into a bathtub.
And see, I did a video on my solar kiln. I had to, in the summertime, even right now, it's 80 degrees outside. When you put a fresh load of wood in there, I had to cover up at 3/4 of the collector on my solar kiln because it gets so hot so fast. Even with the vents, I got a hybrid. I got a dehumidifier in there plus the vents. And
you'll love that 200 because it's set and forget other than checking it twice a day.
Right. And then, but that solar kiln, you'd walk in there, you think everything's fine. You open the doors, there's water dripping off the ceiling.
We put a pump in ours, Neil. So to pump that water off,
Right.
because the amount of condensate that's going to build up is mind blowing.
Oh yeah.
Now, they don't recommend putting a drain in your kiln, and I know why. But when I build another one, I'll have a drain in the floor, and everything will be sloped to that drain, and then that water will actually drain to a sump pump to where I can collect it. Because why should I leave it laying in there for the condenser to have to evaporate it out if I can just run it down a drain? It did the same thing.
Right.
You just want to collect it so you know how much water you're getting to know how you're doing in your cycle.
Right. And Ian did tell me, so when we first start this thing off, call him or whatever, start everything really low and let it preheat that first day and just see where everything's going to sit. Like you say, the 100-degree hot on with a 90 degrees, just to see how everything's going to do.
Call me. I'll help you. It's a trick working through pine. It's all about the water. That's where most people mess up. They don't collect their water. Because you're 200 to do 30 gallons of water a day, 250 pounds.
That's
and you want to keep your temperature to where you're right at maximum water.
Right.
Now, if you go above that, then you start making a bathtub.
That's
and you start causing mold and mildew.
Yeah. What we did was, and I'm sure Eric can probably back me up on this. You started out at a level that you can maintain. Yep. And if you want to set your pitch, you wait till you get closer to the ends, turn your heat up a little bit, set your pitch when you're getting close to the end and there's not a lot of moisture left in the wood. Because if you turn that sucker up right away, you're about to bathe in that, buddy. You can go swimming in that.
Everybody across the country is different. That's what I try to tell people. Your area is different. But for mine, all my pine and poplar, I start at 100 degrees temperature and 75 degrees wet bulb. And we sit there until it quits drawing enough water, and then we'll go up. And we'll sit there until it quits drawing enough water, and then we'll go up. And our goal is to get to that 120 and then dry it down. And like I say, then go to sterilize.
Right.
Now, your area, being hotter, being more damp, you might want to start at 95. You might want to start at 90. Because you can start pulling water at 90 degrees.
Oh, yeah.
And 75 wet bulb, especially if your wood's soaking wet, you'll start pulling water at 90 degrees.
Yeah.
Depends on your air drying cycle, too. I mean, if you got a lot of stuff that's cut up already and it's been air drying for a week, 2 weeks, whatever the case may be, check your moisture before you put it in there.
Yep.
And everything is, like Eric is saying, it's going to be by ear. You know what I'm saying? You have to check it before you put it in there to see where you're going to be at. That way you can plan it out. Because if you just like, hey, I'm going to saw this and throw this in the kiln, all right, good luck.
Try to set aside. Try to build your kiln orders in a timely fashion. Whatever you can put in your kiln, whether it's 1, 2, 3, 4 bundles, cut all that at one time, and it's all the same moisture content, and it's all drying down at the same time. And when you put it in the kiln, it will all act evenly. The last thing you're going to do is have a load of pine that you cut 3 weeks ago, and then 2 bundles you cut yesterday.
Yeah, you can't do that.
It's going to give you a fit.
Right.
Well, it's going to stabilize at whatever has the highest moisture.
Right.
So
the wet's going to get drier, and the dry's going to get wetter.
Yeah, it's going to transfer that over. We did loads, obviously being nerds.
I'll be honest with you, I've run pine in 3 days.
We did. The last load we did, it was a small load. We only had 1,200 board feet in there, but we took it from 20% to dry, and I'm talking it was 8% in 3 days.
I put 3,800 foot of poplar in mine last week and dried it 3 days because it went in at 12%.
And see, I guess depending on your location,
I don't ever do that, but it sat out here for 2 months waiting for its turn to go in.
Depending on your location too, like a lot of the pine and stuff I do is for outside V-grooves, ceilings. A lot of people use it. Like where Craig is over there in Utah.
Yeah, it's dry already.
Just air dried. You know what I mean? Whereas me using something outside, I wouldn't necessarily have to go that low to be able to use it outside because my air dried is 12, 13%, sometimes 14.
I recommend on pine, stop around 10%.
Right.
Because you get it any drier and it gets brittle. And poplar is the same way. You dry poplar to 6%. When you cut it, that board is split right down the middle. You put too much temper in it, getting it too hot, too dry.
That's what I went to on my solar kiln. I stopped around 10, 11% because, I mean, your acclimated stuff outside is around that 12% anyway.
Yeah,
it's going to absorb that moisture once you put it back in that environment. You know, it's just.
That's why I tell people all the time. I said, if I do it oak, we do a lot of hardwood flooring. I said, I want it 6%. When it comes out of the kiln, I want the heart dry as a bone. I know it's going to go 10, 12, 13%, but the heart's dry. Because that's a different use than a piece of pine that you go hang on the side of the house and put latex paint on.
That's right.
Yeah, and the pine's not going to move as much as that oak is too. You want to set that oak hard. That way it ain't going to be doing as much moving.
If what I do in the kiln malfunctions it, I accomplish my job because I want it to fail in the kiln and not on the floor.
That's a good point.
Man, that's just it. If it's going to crack and split, I'd rather it do it while I'm drying it, and then we can work around it, make the board shorter or whatever. Like thing you want to do is leave enough moisture in that thing that when it goes in somebody's house, it pulls a crack.
So whose channel's Quillen Wood Life? Anybody got that question right there on the screen?
I can see it. I can
How
see
many
the
wormholes?
Oh, I love that stuff.
How about worm? You guys had any luck selling it?
I've sold
here.
Yeah, wormy white pine sells good here. You just got to get enough of it separated to do a room, a house, or whatever.
Right. So the first thing is you're calling it wormhole white pine.
Wormy.
It's not wormhole white pine. You're calling it beetle killed, blue stained, knotty white pine. You're calling it the wrong thing. Worm killed. Nobody wants to buy wood. Anybody want to buy wood with wormhole? These big grub holes in it. No, don't call it that. Beetle killed, blue stained white pine. It sells like
what he about the yellow pine. You get that log. I mean, you cut it down. It's fresh. There's no blue and no wormholes or nothing. That log sitting out there on the yard for a while, slipping. You'll start getting little tiny pinholes in that wood, and it'll leave a little black ring around that little tiny hole. It's not big grub holes. It's none of that. It's these little bitty tiny pinholes, and that's maybe what he's talking about. And I've sold a lot of that.
It's still beetle killed.
Around here, our white pine gets pine beetles in it, and yellow pine occasionally, but mostly white pine. And they're about the size of a pencil all the way up to your pinky. Big holes.
Yeah, these holes I'm talking about.
Look like you shot it with a deer rifle.
Right.
Full of holes.
Yeah, we got beetles around here that'll carry you off. I mean,
yeah.
I had one fly up and hit me in the face the other day, and I almost killed myself trying to get away from it because I didn't know what it was. I was just working around the sawmill, and whack, it hits me in the face, and I'm like flipping around.
Two big old tall antennas on top of their head.
Yeah. That sucker, I stomped that sucker on the ground, and it flipped over, looked at me, and flew off. I was like, look at what I was pretty upset. Not gonna lie, I was pretty upset. And I'm talking now. Granted, I stomped him into a pile of sawdust, so it didn't have anything hard below him. So he was like, "All right, dude, I see you. I'm out."
Yep.
We're talking about kilns.
Another one of your trees.
Yeah, we were talking about kilns a while ago. I see what David Parker, our solar kilns worth the time. I did fine with mine. It was small. It was my first kiln. I produced a lot of wood with it. Just got to watch what you do and be careful with it so you don't flood it.
It depends on your budget.
Right. It depends on your budget. And then on that solar kiln too, you got to watch the temperature of the day. A tarp, I did the video on it, is it covering some of your collector if your temperature is getting too high, and you can kind of moderate that. And Mr. Floyd Brennan on here was commenting a while ago. He does I spoke to him several times. He does a lot of hardwood in his solar kiln.
Yeah. Well,
I know Jay and Dan, they have a solar kiln
You know what
as
kind
well.
of money you've invested.
Oh, yeah.
Well, he's saying that they're 1/4-inch size holes.
Or bigger.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I saw Chris from Standard Living Homestead. He said he had a guy drive 4 hours to watch him saw up some of that, perfectly marketed terminology that John used.
Yep.
It's all how you market it.
Yeah. I'm telling you.
When you ready for that load of white oak, John, I'm gonna send you a tractor trailer load.
If I could pay the fuel for a tractor trailer load, I'd take it.
For what y'all selling it for up there, you can afford it.
2-inch, no knots, 2-inch or greater, 2 1/8-inch slabs. 11 over 10 feet long, $22 a board foot.
God almighty.
$22 a board foot.
Eric, you might want to take a road trip.
I tried to buy some white oak this past week from one of my local suppliers. He said, well, I got a guy over here that's paying me $6 a board foot on the log. I said, well, you just keep calling it to him.
Yep. That's
I'm not
I'm telling
paying
you,
$6 a board foot on the log Doyle scale for white oak.
no, I'm
No,
not
I mean,
paying
that's
that
way
either,
beyond
but
stumpage prices. I mean,
I'm selling it for 22.
Hmm.
Now I know
And you can't
know,
afford fuel?
and I can't afford fuel. You're right.
I'm going to say, what?
And I can't afford fuel.
stockpiling that stuff.
A board foot.
A board foot, $22 a board foot.
I'd be coming up with money for fuel from somewhere.
It's got to be kiln dried. It's got to be, stabled. It should have been a veneer log. It's got no knots. It's straight grain, perfect. I'm not saying every white oak log I get I sell for $22 a board foot, because that's
I
not.
didn't say that.
You know what I mean? That's not the case. But I'm saying a nice premium board is $22 a board foot.
I think I could probably get similar, to be honest.
People
it
want me
depends
to
on
quote
that high end market.
Yeah. I get calls every day. People want me to quote white oak trailer decking. I'm like, you do realize what you're asking, right?
Yep.
Well, Big Tex trailers, there's actually a lot of trailer companies that, and your Department of Transportation, they use almost primarily white oak to cover their trailers in. Yep. And I had a buddy of mine recently, he literally cut up, I want to say it was 8,000 board feet of white oak that was going on Texas Department of Transportation trailers.
I hope he charged them accordingly.
He did. Yeah. He charged them a lot of money.
That's some easy cutting too. 2x8s.
Yeah, 2x8s, 16-foot long.
Real quick.
I try to around here. I try to get people to use red oak, chestnut oak. I'm like, it's going to outlast the length of time you own that trailer. Don't worry about putting white oak on it.
You're right.
And I'll have them. They're going to load a bulldozer on it. I'm like, dude, every 2 years you're going to need trailer decking. So what? White oak lasts 5 years longer than red oak. You're going to tear it up way before it's wore out or rots.
Yeah.
So, have you ever used any or sold anybody any elm for trailer decking?
No.
Elm?
We don't have that here.
You don't have elm?
No.
Okay. So
we have elm here, but it's just, I wouldn't put it on a trailer deck. I mean, it is a really hard wood, so I'm sure it would probably do fine.
The elm it doesn't have as good. It has better properties for outdoor than red oak. The elm does, but it doesn't have the white oak properties, obviously. But on like a car trailer, I'm not talking a semi trailer. I'm talking a car trailer that'll bend. They say that, and I haven't tried it yet, so don't quote me on this, but they say that the elm will bend instead of the white oak snapping. When you drive a bulldozer on there, the white oak will snap, those boards will snap, and they say the elm will bend, but it still lasts as long as a red oak. And I haven't tried it. I just wondered if you were, or if anybody had. Sorry. Got off on a wrong subject.
No, it's still got to do with wood. It's cool.
I don't want my car trailer to bend.
You don't want your car trailer to bend? What kind of car trailer you got?
I like my log hauler. It's steel deck.
Okay, that's a log hauler, not a car trailer. Car trailer. A car trailer that you drive a car up on, 2 axle, 20 foot long. You don't want it to bend.
flatbed.
No, I mean, I wouldn't. Not really. I don't guess. I got 2 or 3 of them. I've never seen one big.
I know a lot of the guys they use just pine
Okay.
on those car trailers around here, and obviously pine is going to be a lot more flexible than a hardwood.
Well, if they're using a trailer, they're going to wear the wood out way
100%.
before it ever rots.
For sure.
Yeah, they use hemlock up here.
Yep.
That's pretty soft.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hemlock's not bad.
Harder.
There's definitely some
Eastern-
stuff I'd like to cut. I mean, we don't have the luxury being in the South to have 20% dry wood like Craig is cutting, but a standing tree is 20% moisture. But
Standing tree, a standing tree in Craig's area is 6%. What are you talking about?
A green.
Yeah,
green
they're
white
called
oak in this area,
they're called cactus.
65. Wow. In the map.
That very good point. Yeah, I don't know if you guys saw that question from Chris from Standard Living Homestead. Excavator matting. So not just matting for excavators, but also your dunnage for a pipelining companies.
Mm-hmm.
There's a small time mill. Now he's not using a band mill, as I want to say he's using an old circle mill. But all that, this is like a 3 or 4 man operation, and all he does is cut dunnage, and that dude is covered up with work all the time. And that's all he does is cut and dry dunnage.
I got a new customer I picked up a while back. I've done 2 big orders for him already. He runs a trucking company, and they haul these pre-tension bridge timbers, the big long ones. And he'll call or order a couple of pallets, of 4x6s, 12 foot long, and they cut them up in little 14-inch pieces, and they put them on those trailers when they're hauling that out, and most of the time it never comes back. Easy money. You can use up whatever piece of junk oak you got laying around, all the knotty, gnarly stuff, as long as it's solid. You just never know. You got to sell what will sell in your area.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, I reached out to a guy that they ship stuff all over the world, and they buy every quarter. They buy, I want to say, he said it was 10,000 board feet of has to be KDAT pine, like kiln dried and heat treated pine, and I just don't know that it would be all that lucrative to do it, because they're using it to build like shipping crates and stuff like that. And because it's going overseas, it has to be heat treated.
Just give them a price. Give them a price of what you can cut it. You can buy it, saw it, and kiln dry it, and then pick it up. And if they want it, they buy it. If they don't, move on. Don't cut your throat. Give them a price for it.
I think they're looking for a different supplier, which is why he took my call. And because I guess they've been less than happy with what they've had so far. So, and that's something that we've heard from some of the customers is, they'll reach out, get somebody to do something, and it doesn't turn out the way that they were hoping. And man, it can give a bad name in general for what we do. And they're like, oh, well, these guys are small time. How can they, put out what I'm trying to do. So, it's really trying to focus on quality over quantity.
Well, you're filling a niche that these big mills won't even waste their time doing.
Oh yeah.
There's 3 within an hour of where I'm sitting here that, saw 1 million board feet a week. And if you're not talking a $2 or $3 million order or $10 million order, they're not going to answer the phone.
Yeah, we got 2 GP mills that are 30 minutes from me. So I mean, they're cutting wood and then turning it into plywood. So they're chipping it. They'll chip it and turn it into plywood. But them dudes are sawing unbelievable amount of wood.
Yep. So that's why these small band mills have made such a resurgence over the years. Is the medium-sized production mills don't exist no more. You either got us or the big manufacturers that, you know, you're not allowed on the property. So I'm happy. It allows us to make a living.
Yeah, that and
Yep.
the overhead on those bigger operations is a lot higher. You know, I made a video recently on that I put out on Facebook, and I put it on my YouTube channel as well, because I kind of pretty much I'll share all the content on my different social medias. Well, on YouTube, I want to say this video, and it was short. It's like 6 minutes long. And on YouTube, it didn't get, but I don't even think it broke 1,000 views. But on Facebook, it's at like 1.6 million views. And I had so many people comment on there, like, your overhead has to be like $1 bajillion in order to get started. And I want to say that was one of the questions that John had for the roundtable. Like, what does it take to get started in this industry? And basically what I've told a lot of the folks on there is you start small and you build up. Like, you're not going to start out an operation that you know absolutely nothing about and have never sawed a single piece of lumber and go invest $100,000 in equipment and go be great at it. That's just not how that works. You have to learn what the wood is going to do. You have to learn what it's going to do in your kiln, like Eric was saying. You have to learn what to look for and where to buy your lumber from, how to source your lumber when you're trying to buy logs. Like, you're not just going to hop into something like that and just be successful overnight. You know, I consider myself to be a smart human, but there's no way I would even consider doing that. And that's kind of what I've advised a lot of those folks, because it has a lot of comments and they're like, oh man, it must have cost you a blah dollar amount. And I'm like, it cost you a lot less than what you think.
Most people I know started just like all of us, got a hobby, and a hobby got out of hand.
Well, a pro at anything was a beginner at one time.
Exactly.
I still am.
I had no idea that I was going to invest this kind of money at my age in sawmilling 10 years ago, 12 years ago. But here we are.
All right, let's see. We have an 18-inch round, lots of branches on it. What's a recommendation as far as like milling it? That's one of the questions I see that popped up there.
Oh, and then he says this right after.
All right.
I could take that one. I could take that one because I know the area he's in. You want to mill those 2 inches thick, leave the live edge on them, and advertise them for bar tops or breakfast bars.
Yeah, you're not going to make dimensional lumber out of a knotty log. You're not going to be happy with what you get.
Not and keep it straight. If you dry it in a kiln, it's going to look like letters of the alphabet. So I mean, it's just not going to happen.
There's a good answer. Make it into firewood bundles.
They do that as well.
How many times have you guys explained to your customers, don't bring me limbs to saw lumber out of?
Yeah.
Well, the first thing you have to do is explain to them what a limb is.
Yeah.
Or what a log is. For real.
And I've used the analogy. I tell people, I say, look, a tree stands like this, and all the forces are in a vertical alignment. I said, a limb stands like this, and all the forces are compressing and tension. And when you cut that, your wood's going to do this.
Eric, so much negativity. When you have lemons, you make lemonade. So when they bring you a branch, you just saw them up into a bunch of little rounds. Zip, 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 zip. Then you have coasters. See how that works?
Tim is right on that, though. I mean, I saw a YouTube video recently, and this guy, he turned a multi-million-dollar business out of doing exactly that. He takes those limbs and cuts them into rounds, and this dude went from nothing to multi-millionaire, and I want to say it was like a 7-year period, which most people don't have the patience of like a gnat. So 7 years is a long time, but he built a multi-million-dollar company sawing rounds out of stuff that most people would consider to be, for exactly the reason that Eric mentioned.
He's not selling them locally. He's probably selling them on 100%. Amazon or something.
He's selling Amazon. He's selling people that he can ship it to.
He's selling it to people he doesn't know and doesn't care about and doesn't care as a return customer. That's who he's selling them to.
Yeah.
Because you're not selling them to anybody you like. I guarantee it. They're going to crack. They're going to split, and they're going to turn
All
to
of
shit.
his enemies.
You know, right? So you're not wanting a repeat customer. You don't care about them.
Two guys,
Wow.
entry level mill and cut 90K package in 5 weeks. I mean, you don't have to have a big setup. That's kind of what all of us would. I guarantee you that every one of us would say the same thing. You don't have to have a multi-million-dollar setup to cut quality lumber.
No.
If you have good flat level grounds, your mill is flat and level, your blade is true to your bunks, you're going to cut flat wood. And take your time and cut flat lumber and do your
whatever
research.
mill you can afford to pay for.
100%. If it's something that lays on the ground and it costs you $3,000, we'll buy a $3,000 mill and you save up the money from what you're going to make off of that and make the best quality lumber you can. And you know,
Build up
in the
to
words
it.
of John, that blue stained beetle, you know, marketing.
Blue stained, beetle killed, knotty white pine.
Right. You can't
See,
get
I don't-
that
I don't
anywhere
know
else.
all
It
the other
has to
brands
be in
and
this
prices.
area. This bug gave it character you can't get. You literally can't get this anywhere else. That bug gave that character.
Leaning trees. It's going to have
Leaning trees.
tension in it, buddy.
Mhm.
When you cut a cant and that top flitch steps up or it moves to one side or the other, it's got tension in it. And all the way through that log, you're going to fight tension. There's nothing you can do about it. Cut it oversized. You know, if you want to end up with 1x6s, maybe you need to cut 1x8 so you can cut the sucker straight after they dry.
There's another guy that I've watched that, you know, he's got a pretty good industry and, you know, hobby hardwoods. He's like, look, and kind of what he said, I've tried to take on is you cut the straightest, widest, longest piece of wood that you can cut. That's going to be quality lumber. If it's 4 feet long and 3 inches wide, that's what you cut.
Yep.
You know, you get the best quality piece of lumber out of it that you can get. And you don't sell somebody something that's not quality. That way your stuff continues to grade out high. I mean, obviously you got to find a way to be profitable. You got to find a way to market that like John has. But you know, you just try to cut the highest quality stuff that you can cut that people are going to buy. And you find a way to have that wood tell a story. And all of us, like I said earlier, every piece of wood that we put on our sawmill has a story. First of all of us are kind of, you know, we're olds. Other than Neil, Neil's pretty young. You know, we're kind
Well,
of
it's like Christmas. Every time you open a face up on a log, it's like Christmas. You don't know what you're going to find.
I'm telling you, I'm surprised every time I cut something open. I cut a pine log yesterday and it didn't look like much. And I peeled that sucker back and I was like, man, that's absolutely beautiful. And it's just southern yellow pine. It's stuff we see all the time.
Yep.
Oh, I enjoy
Okay,
it.
John. Okay, John, we need a special name for beetle killed ash that doesn't have holes in it.
And it comes out of the swamp.
Killed
It's
ash.
swamp ash.
Beetle killed ash that doesn't have holes in it.
You know,
What is that?
you guys are always saying that I'm starting this, but you guys have already said swamp ass. You've already said swamp ass. That's what you started with.
Ash. I
See,
said
ash.
I did
That's
not
what I
say-
said. Ass. Swamp ass. Beetle killed trees. That's what you say.
That stuff's
That's
already
really
Poop in it, blue stain it.
I was going to try to get you a quote earlier, John. Is ask him, Josh, if diesel drip causes problems with the pellets. Having diesel in there, I figure that'll get you.
I bet. I don't know if you're using that much diesel. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you're going to use a mill where it's a diesel drip, it's not so much a drip as it is just keeping it lubricated. I don't use diesel on mine personally. With me cutting a lot of southern yellow pine, like a lot of it, we typically
You ought to. You'd love it.
Yeah,
I use
love
pine
it.
salt.
I've used everything under the sun. Nothing works like diesel. But
100%.
if that little bit of diesel bothers you, I'm using 5 gallons to cut 10,000 board feet. You'd need a scientist to find it and prove it was even there.
Oh, they can find it, I'm sure. I mean,
but it's not enough to hurt anything. And the quality, the keeping your mill clean, not having any rust. I won't go back to anything else.
Nope.
Yeah, I don't think it would be.
either.
I don't think it would be an issue if you're going to put it in barbecue wood. But maybe if, like, say, if you're going to sell the pellets to like a mushroom grower or something like that, maybe you just don't run it on that run. And that's something I did wanted to point out. Since obviously we do a lot of sawing, the sawdust that you get off of your mill itself, because I know Eric, you've got a air filtration, or essentially a collection, right?
Yeah.
So that the amount of dust that you're going to get off of that 1,200 board feet ish, if you were to compress that into pellets, those pellets would be worth about $3,700 on 1,200 board feet of if you were sawing oak.
What?
I've
Just-
looked at it. I just don't have a market
Got
to
my
get rid of
attention.
them on the back end.
Okay,
I
so
had looked at generating a market to get rid of the pellets. Now the
Yeah,
biomass
I mean,
thing,
you got to have a market for it in your area. And if you're closer to a bigger city, like I'm a little bit outside of Houston, an hour, a little outside of Houston. So I know, because we've reached out to the mushroom growers, they will buy it. When we got the dude on the phone, he was like, "You're telling me you're in Texas and you can make these pellets?" I'm like, "Yes." He was like, "You bring me a pallet of them and I'll buy them." So
you're making them out of oak, right?
yeah, you want an oak blend that you know where it came from. So his recent supplier that he was speaking with changed their formula and didn't bother to tell the guy, like, "Hey, we changed our formula." So it's one of those things where if you're going to have a customer, you might want to let them know, "Hey, we changed what we did recently." Just fair warning, it may not grow the same, or whatever the case may be. So just staying on top of your stuff like that is trying to do the best you can for your customer.
Well, that's the next thing we want to try to get done when we move some more dirt, is to build 2 buildings to put my sawdust in, and may end up needing to be 3, if to be able to separate, because I can sell pine. It makes good horse bed and different things, but we saw so many fruity hardwoods and stuff. Any of that mixed with your pine is deadly to horses.
Oh yeah. Same thing with like your obviously you can't cut any walnut.
No, absolutely not.
It is very, very, very dangerous to animals.
Yep.
Any kind of farm animal or small critters, they do not do well in that. I mean, that's
Black cherry also.
Yep.
Yeah.
We saw it,
I was
and we
just gonna
saw
say
a
that.
lot of walnut and cherry. And I kind of throw oak in there as the same way, because it's a nutty wood, and I wouldn't want to put a horse on it at all.
right.
That's
Yeah.
why they only use pine.
Well, there's a question for everybody.
Steady supply of logs. I've mentioned this in some of my videos, and you guys can chime in as well. If you have a good working relationship with guys that clear land, a lot of the times these land clearing companies, they have to pay someone to get rid of the wood. They literally have to pay money to get rid of the wood. If you form a relationship with 3 or 4 groups in your area that are doing this, and there's probably going to be some land clearing guys near you. If you
I
live
think
anywhere in civilization,
The best
they will
untapped
literally bring it
resource
to you.
is tree guys.
Yeah, tree guys.
They
Yeah.
get the best trees, been in somebody's yard for 100 years. Yeah, they may have a nail here and there, okay, but they get trees that you don't find out in a clear-cut forest anymore, because they're all set out pines or whatever. But tree guys will bring you the best stuff over time.
Yeah.
You got to take the good with the bad.
That and Facebook Marketplace. I mean, because of the area that I'm in now, this is specific to me. I don't know about you guys, but I can find more wood that I can cut in the next 5 years in 15 minutes on Facebook Marketplace. Now I'm going to have to go do the work to log that lumber and bring it back to my mill. So maybe the time investment may not be worth it there. But as far as being able to supply myself with lumber or with trees, Me and Jake took a 4-day period and got 171 pine logs that were anywhere from 8 feet to 18 feet. And it cost us $367 in gasoline.
Yeah,
So,
I don't do that. I don't want to work on anybody else's property. Now I have occasionally hired local tree guys. Hey man, go up here and get these 4 or 5 loads of logs and bring them to me. I'll pay you. Stuff like that. But I'm not going on somebody else's property and cut trees. I don't carry insurance for that. I'll tell them right quick. There's an industry out there. It's called a tree service, and they cut those trees down for money.
Right.
yeah,
you
I
get
don't.
on
I'm
there,
cool with
we
any
get-
of that stuff. Yeah,
We get a lot of
we're not going to
inquiries
go
about that
cut
too.
stuff for folks like
Same
that.
thing.
I mean, it's so dangerous. And
Yeah.
you know, I consider myself to be decent at felling a tree. My dad was phenomenal at it, but I'm not confident enough in my abilities, and we don't carry the insurance. Like we have I want to say we have like $2 million, general liability insurance, but it's not for, hey, let me go fell a tree into somebody's house. No,
Right.
I'm not going to do that.
I work with
You
it.
tell your insurance company you're cutting trees on your property, your rate just quadruples.
Right. Yeah. It's one of those. I mean, we're not going to go do that typically. Now, every once in a while, I might cut a onesies and twosies here and there, but I'm doing that on a case-by-case basis where I feel like my skills are confident or competent enough, and I'm going to be able to use mechanical advantage, i.e. a tractor, to push
around
this in a
here,
direction.
If you had like an F700 with a knuckle boom on the back, you could go around and pick up all the logs you want, but you got to be able to pick them up.
Right.
I work with a guy clearing land and run a track hose. So every now and then we'll get on a pretty good track with some nice trees, and that's a huge advantage for me.
Oh yeah, you get to be real picky.
Yeah, I can cut what I want out of it, push them down, dig them up, pick them up to stump them and top them, and all the fun stuff, and leave the scraps behind.
Yep.
That's
And
that's
you got an 18-wheeler to haul them.
Lord have mercy.
Josh, back a little while ago, someone had this question. Do you need to
Okay,
have
yeah.
a
So single species of dust. It doesn't have to be a single species on the dust. So a lot of these guys will use an oak blend. So as long as it's an oak, it can be a blend. You just need to know what's in it. That way you can tell your customer, hey, this is what is in this. Because they're going to have scientists that are trying to figure all this stuff out. Like, and they're going to do, tests on like, all right, this grew at this rate and allowed us to increase our production on whatever particular type of mushroom it is, or whatever the case may be. Or this turned out well for our particular barbecue. Like, say if you're going to sell barbecue chips or whatever, just know what's in it. I mean, that's the main thing. It's not so much having a particular species. You just have to know what's in it. And a blend is typically going to be a little better just because of kind of how bacteria and stuff kind of works together, especially with a fungus. You're growing a fungus, that's what a mushroom is. So
Are you talking about staying all within the oak species, or blending a little pine or something with it?
Right. Hardwood, or can it be mixed?
Hardwood
pine and
only.
hardwood?
So these guys are going to be almost exclusively, for your mushroom growers, it's almost exclusively hardwood. Can't have any pine or kind of a cypress or anything in there. Now, there are some guys that will take a blend with a certain amount in there. It just depends on what kind of mushroom they're growing. But the folks that we talk to, they're like, nope, needs to be a hardwood. And we took it a step further and like, all right, well, we'll focus on oak rather than just hardwood. Because hardwood, I mean, you could have poplar, you could have sweet gum in there.
Right.
It could be any number of things. Because, I mean, sweet gum is very, very prevalent in the South. I'm sure that Neil sees it all the time as well. Like, we have loads and loads of sweet gum everywhere. Like,
Loads.
There's a whole wall of it.
And I've seen that in your shop before, Eric. That stuff's beautiful too. Like, I've cut some absolutely gorgeous sweet gum,
beautiful.
but it's very acidic. You
It's
have
not good
to
outdoors.
It's not. It absorbs moisture very well, which is bad if you're going to have it outdoors. So
I don't understand why they make bridge timbers out of it, and pipeline mats because that crap rots quickly.
I don't know why they wouldn't. I mean,
It's
a lot
hard,
of the guys
but
around here, they cut white oak. They cut white oak for the dunnage, but we have like the mill that we're getting our dust from. They almost exclusively cut just oak in general, and a lot of it is white oak. Where they get all of it from, I mean, these loggers are finding it, man. But it's like it's not as prevalent as it used to be when I was a kid. I remember seeing white oak all over the place, and now it's a lot less prevalent as it used to be in at least my area.
well, around here we're selling every stick we can get to go to Tennessee, Ohio, Kentucky to make whiskey barrels. We're using it quicker than you can grow it.
Oh.
Yeah.
And that's why it's getting expensive.
Yep.
Stop drinking so much whiskey.
Right.
What? Who are you talking to? Who are you talking to? Me?
No, he didn't say John, but okay.
All right.
Weep.
Oak weep. I've never heard that term.
Yeah, I'm not
Oak
familiar
wilt.
with that particular
Wilt.
terminology.
Oak wilt.
I've seen, unfortunately, around here, the white oaks are getting a lot of root rot. They're dying at the root and just fall over.
Right. And a lot of that's water too around here. Is the root rot is standing water.
Soil.
The oak wilt is going through, but it goes through every I don't know, every 50 years or so.
Is that a bug or a fungus, John?
No, it's a fungus.
Okay.
It goes from west coast to east coast. Probably 50 years, 75 years. But the thing about it is it's not going to kill the tree that's over 75 years old and healthy because it's already had it once. You know what I mean? It's like an immunity. It's like COVID. You know, you might get it once or twice, but it's not going to kill you as long as you're healthy, fit,
Right.
you know, taking your vitamins or whatever you exercising. I don't know, whatever you want to say, but
Gotcha.
Taking the
But-
ivermectin.
but it is going to get
That's right.
right. That next generation of oak trees who hasn't had it yet and who's under a lot of stress, that's where you're going to see the oak. I mean, I don't know if that weep is what he's talking about, but that's where you're going to see the oak wilt come in.
I've
And
seen the
we
white
have
oaks around here. They're really sensitive to what's in the soil. If you get something that has some kind of harmful chemicals, and obviously that's any tree really, but we had a tree that was in our backyard that all the other trees were healthy, and this one particular white oak, for whatever reason, its root system absorbed nutrients from our gray water system. So, I mean, you're talking detergents and all, you know, because that's coming from your washer, that's coming from like your sink, all of your, you know, bathtubs and all that stuff. So that it soaked those nutrients, or the lack thereof, I guess, up, and it killed itself. And man, it went, most of the time, white oak, it won't rot, but this stuff
He
rotted.
blamed it on Tide. It was that Mexican restaurant down the street.
It's all the spices.
So right here, this comment right here, Melanie Diane Howe. You guys want to know how to make a live better? Right there. Go watch her. Go watch our channel. She'll
Cool.
tell you how to
Thanks
make
for
a live better. I obviously
Give
don't
it
watch
in,
her
Melanie.
enough. But, but if you want to learn how to make the show better, go watch her.
But you tried.
Well,
John.
look what you got to work with, John. Come on.
Yeah.
I know, right?
Bunch of stubborn old farts.
It's not working for me, but she's a good teacher. I'm just not a good learner, and you guys are really not good learners.
That's
They
true.
make it hard.
I
You
don't,
see
I don't
how
think it's
hard
that
it
we're
is?
good. We're not good at learning. We're just setting our ways. There's a
It's
difference.
hard to
Right.
teach an old dog new tricks, John. Come on.
They've already learned everything they want to know.
Well,
Right,
you got to
so
be
they're
willing
not-
to learn. That's the
Right.
main thing. Yeah, it's you get to a certain point. I've told people, like, as I get older, man, I get less patient. I don't get more patient.
Very
I
much
get
so.
less.
Yep.
Because
No-
I've
no
dealt
patience
with
in there.
so much crap to this point. It's like, look, I've seen this 78, 5, like a billion times before. I'm not going to deal with it. Let's move on. You know, it's less patient over time.
There you
Joe,
go, Brett.
at least you don't have to wake up every morning and say, "Yes, sir, Lieutenant."
Yeah. I mean, it's one of those things where it's that didn't bother me in the situation that I was in, because I mean, I put myself there, and I enjoyed the guys that I was, you know, around. Obviously, the ladies as well, the guys and girls, the men and women that I served with. But it's one of those things where you just adapt to the environment that you're in,
Yeah.
and you make the best of it. And
Well,
you know,
you're not going to make 20 years if you can't adapt.
Oh, no,
So-
100%. And one of the things that, you know, my primary focus as a chief petty officer in the Navy was to train junior officers. That's one of the things that was most important to any chief in the Navy, is to be a liaison between your general enlisted, like your E6 and below, and then your officer corps. Because a lot of the younger officers, they simply just don't have the leadership skills to interact with a E2 sailor. They just don't.
They can't handle the E4 mafia.
The E4 mafia, you're talking about guys that are, you know, crotchety. They're not old, but they're crotchety, you know, and they've been rubbed the wrong way. And you have to know how to deal with folks like that. And, you know, your officer that's, you know, just straight out of knocking the core there, they're not
Butter
going to.
bars.
Yeah, your butter bars, and I don't care what branch it is, they're not going to be equipped to handle that. And you know, the E7s, the chiefs that have been around a minute, no, we're not going to let the E4 mafia run over us. And you know, we've been there before, and it's like, look, dude, I know every trick you're going to try and ask me. So let's go ahead and move on.
Because I used to hide there myself. So shut up, go to work.
Look, I know A, B, C, and D hiding places, so I'm going to go ahead and do my rounds. If I find you there, you know, we're going to have some extra training later to correct whatever deficiency it is that you decided you're on that particular day. You know,
There you go. That's a good idea. See, that's what I'm telling you right there. Here's
You started.
I don't
with
even
the
know if we have.
drinking thingy.
I was so late. I haven't had power for I don't know how many hours, and we just got it back, and we're not going to have it reliable for the next 3 days. So I didn't get the show set up. So I didn't even think any of these guys are set up. But Tim and Rick right up there in the top left are from Two Brothers Outdoors. They have a Hudson's Mills. Paul is the next one. He's Southern Adirondack Outdoors. He runs a hobby mill, Woodmiser Sawmill. Eric and Matthew's not there. Matthew's the good looking one. Eric is not the good looking one tonight.
I resent that.
There.
Look at that beard.
They run. They're full time. They're the biggest money makers probably on the channel. They're full time. Father and son, 2 hours or 40 hours a week or more, probably running a sawmill. Then MrJoRobb, he's a guest tonight, and we're supposed to be talking about.
We've covered some of the topics.
The real, I know we have. The real ins and outs of making money with your sawmill and how much money it takes to get started. What you're really selling your lumber for, how much you're really making on that. And we're going to try and dive into the real nuts and bolts of how much we're each making. Neil is Riverside Wooden Farm YouTube channel, and he's in Louisiana.
Mississippi.
Same
Close.
thing. It's all down there in the
Same
south.
thing.
It-
Just below
he's
the
down there in the
Mason-Dixon.
south in the swamp.
Sounds the same. I guess.
Louisiana, Alabama, Missouri, they're all the same.
Arkansas, all somewhere
Panhandle,
down in there.
Florida, Texas.
Doesn't really matter. And Craig's not here tonight. And
John's in the
who else we
socialist
missing?
state of Chicago.
Yeah, I thought
Yeah,
Craig
I'm
said
in
he was
social-
just going to be late. What happened to him?
I'm
Motherwood
in the
let 'em
socialist
out?
state of Chicago. Yep. Running a wood miser also. Not working near as hard as anybody else on here. These guys all probably work harder than me. And I'm selling most strictly hardwoods, where these guys will sell the pine and stuff like that.
No, John, no.
No, I won't sell the hardwoods. You guys are selling the hardwoods
Not
too.
hardwood, no.
They're selling the hardwoods too, but they're selling not the kiln dried hardwoods. They're selling the
No.
crafters
Crafters.
boxes and the swamp ass wood stuff like that.
They're trying.
That's
a
they're
real
covering
thing.
The world with tomato
That stuff
steak.
stinks, by the way. That's the worst smelling wood I think we've ever milled.
Ash?
Swamp
No,
ash.
swamp ash.
Oh,
Oh my
Swamp
gosh.
ash?
That's a real thing.
That's exactly.
Google.
Yep, it is.
Google,
I'm
Google it. That is a
That
real.
tells me,
That's a real tree in high
soil.
demand.
Guitar
it's got to
sound.
be the soil, because that
Oh yeah.
tulip poplar in my area,
Whew.
same thing, because I know where it's coming from, a river bottom or a slough, something like that. It literally smells like where it came from. When you cut it open, it's like, man,
We opened the
that's-
face. We both had to get out of there. We were choking.
Yeah.
that's what your willow and your cottonwood and, like I said, your poplar and stuff smells like too. It's
The
nasty. It
strongest
smells
wood
like,
but though the smell wise is camphor. I know a lot of y'all have never cut it, but
oh no.
And full for
Oh,
beef,
no.
John.
I have never cut camphor, but I had a customer that brought some, and I dried it for him.
Oh, that was
And that
that was
stuff
priceless.
stunk.
Taking out my earplugs. I didn't even hear that.
Yes, you did.
Nope.
You
Not
didn't get
listening.
him out
You guys.
fast enough. I know
I'm
you
not-
heard it.
Not listening.
I tell you what, gentlemen, we've been a lively group tonight. I like it. So Sean McGill asked, when buying logs, are we particular on quality and sizing? I mean, obviously, you're not going to buy something bigger than you can cut. So it's really about what you can put on your mill and cut to a quality level. And obviously, once you go below a certain size, it's not even worth your time cutting it.
What
and I'm
you
sure,
get delivered depends on what you pay for it.
correct.
If you got a local tree man that's doing a small job, and he cuts down a maple, a hickory, and a red oak, and throws them on the back of his truck and drops them off in your yard and drives off, you don't worry about what he dropped off. Pick out what you can use and get rid of the rest of it.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
You
if
got to take
I'm, paying,
advantage of the
if
situation.
I'm paying top dollar for it, then I'm telling you minimum size, the exact length I want, and species, and then I'll pay you accordingly for bringing that.
Right. That's exactly how it works. So, but like everybody said on here, don't get something bigger than you can mill. Go ahead and get something bigger than you can mill. Try to split it yourself. Try that one time. See how that works out, and so you don't do it again. Get some
Like a
small
YouTube
ones.
video.
Get some small ones. Yeah, I did that video. I did 2 of those dang videos. Get some small ones. See how that shit works out for you. That doesn't, you won't do it again.
Nope.
But so when you're first starting out, get all that stuff. Do all of it.
Yeah.
And
It's the only
that's
way you
the
learn.
only way. Eric
Don't
on here telling you, Eric can tell you 100 times to buy what you can mill, buy the quality, set the length, set the diameter, set the quality, and buy what you can mill and then sell it. But you're always going to second guess, Eric, and you're always going to say, well, what if I had this, or what if I had this, and what if, go ahead and try it. It's
take it
it's
off.
not going to hurt you. That's where we were all at. You've got to try it. You've got to cut the limb, you've got to cut the big one, and you've got to cut the balsa wood, like Melanie Diane Howe said.
And when
You
you,
know?
get
Also,
when you
You
get
gotta-
bigger and you've developed a market, don't worry about a few logs going bad on your yard. Always have more wood than you need. If I happen to lose a stack of pine, lose a couple $1,000, so what? I had it here available.
What's the
Yeah.
matter with you?
I did a video on that, Eric. I mean, if you have too many logs, you'll never be. You'll always have something when a job comes up. But when you start scrambling, when somebody calls and you're looking around, you don't have the wood for the job.
Because
And,
you're on the phone taking an order, knowing you don't have the log laying out there.
That's right.
It's a whole lot easier when you're taking that order and say, Yep, I got those 16s, I got those 18s, I got those 20s. You know, I had a guy the other day called me. He wanted 4 8x12 16-foot long galopines. I had them. I gave him a price for them, and then he called me back later and said, "Well, we decided to go another way." But you got to have some big logs laying around to cut 8x12 16-foot long.
Right.
Yep. All right, Josh, there you go. You're up.
I see it. Yeah. Why did I switch from a wood miser to a Norwood? So we still have the wood miser mill, but I switched to Norwood simply for the fact of as my social media grew, Norwood was willing to work with me. That's why. Not that I don't like a wood miser, because it is a fine piece of machinery. We've cut a lot of wood with it, but Norwood was willing to take a chance with what I was doing with my social media. So we decided to move in that direction. And to be fair, I did reach out and give wood miser an opportunity, and I gave some others some opportunities as well. But ultimately what we ended up getting was the most fair situation I could put myself in, which is why I decided to do that. But we do still have the wood miser, and that sucker still cuts wood. So it's a manual mill, but we do have power feed on it, and it'll cut wood. It'll flat out cut. And it's not overly complicated. There's something to be said about simplicity. And, all of us have probably heard the trope, keep it simple, stupid, the KISS method. The more simple your mill is, the better lumber you're going to cut until you learn your piece of equipment. Because as you get better at it, you'll learn how to integrate all of those things and have them work together. But so that's why. It wasn't because I didn't like my wood miser. I definitely liked the wood miser. It just Norwood gave me an opportunity with my social media, and I took it. So that's why.
Yep. Anybody got a good answer for Melanie? She ain't like mine.
I know she ain't gonna like mine either. But go ahead, give her yours, Eric.
Good luck.
There's no such thing as a fair land value. Your best option is probably to reach out to the Tennessee Forestry Service and see if they'll come do a land survey for you and kind of give you a value per acre. Anybody you hire to clear that land, you need somebody standing on site that knows how to grade logs and see if they're giving you a fair deal or because it happens.
Yeah, you got to do the research on it too. Know what your market is selling at that moment, what the stumpage prices are for everything that's on that lot.
Yep.
And I'm talking, you need to survey every single tree. If it's a shrub,
100 acres of pine is not worth the same as 100 acres of old growth white oak.
Correct.
And there's a lot of independent companies out there for cruisers to come cruise your property, and you might get a couple opinions from a couple different ones.
I like what they do up in Amish country. They harvest the logs and they lay them out in the field and they put numbers on them and they come by and bid on each one individually.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
That seems to me to be the fairest way for the homeowner. Is that all them logs laid out there and they come by and say, I'll give you 500 for that one, 300 for that one, 400 for that one, 900 for that one. And they take the highest bidder and load it on their truck. The way they go.
So if you use that land, go ahead.
Usually a state forest will come out and look at your property and give you an idea for free.
Yeah.
At least they will here.
Yeah, they'll do it for research. If you reach out to them and say, hey, because they'll have guys that are trying to, and girls obviously, that are trying to learn, and they'll bring them along. And anytime they have to train, they'll do that.
And they'll help you with the reclamation process if you're wanting to reseed
100%.
it.
Yeah.
They're good. Your state forestry service is an excellent resource.
Absolutely.
That's why I mentioned the USDA stuff earlier, and then also your state level guys, because a lot of folks don't utilize it. I know some guys may think that we're too small to do that, but I promise you're not too small. That podcast with Jennifer Auger on it was eye opening. We had considered that when we went into the business. To try to go kind of that route, obviously it can be a capital heavy industry if you want to try to run out the gate 100 miles an hour. But this can alleviate some of that. And the Forestry Service is part of that. They're going to help you. They'll even help you manage your land better. They'll give you suggestions on like, hey, you might want to think about drainage or whatever the case may be. They're going to help you get better soils so you can produce better growth on your stuff as well. Especially if you're
replanting a better species
or you
to
replant.
replant.
Right.
Yeah.
So if you're using that land, and I mean by using it, if you're out in it, if you're walking it, if you're hunting it, if it's, something like that, and the land, no matter who you hire, no matter what log you hire, you're not going to be happy with the end results because it's going to look like crap. You know what I mean? That's just how it is.
And nowadays, you'll never make enough money off the wood to clean the land up and make it look like a field.
No.
You're going to have to put a lot of money back in, including all the money you got out of it, if you want it to look like a green grass field when you get done.
Yep. It typically costs $2,500 plus per acre to get somebody to mulch it up for you. So after they came in, they've done their work. It's going to cost you per acre to get it mulched up. So unless you have the money to invest into a $180,000 machine that's going to do the mulching for you,
there's nothing wrong with clearing the property, especially if the forest is old. And if you can't afford that, just have the Forestry Service plant it back and set out pines, and next generation can worry about clearing it again.
Like on the on the stumping aspect, like that guy I work for, we around $175 an hour for a track hoe. So if you come in there, they come leave all the stumps, they clear your property and mulch the top, sell the logs. Say if you do want to stump it and make it a pasture, that'd be a good baseline. That guy charges $175 an hour just to come pull the stumps, and then you're charged to burn them, and then that's, you know what I mean? It's an hourly rate for there. Some people might have an acreage price, but that's about what he charges on his excavator.
That's a little cheap for around here.
Right, and see across the state line, they're getting a lot more, but no,
it's $450 an hour around here.
But so that's his size excavator.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Around here, a man with a 220 Volvo, something like that, he's going to get $250, $300 an hour.
Yeah, we've been running a 210 link belt. I mean, it's a big machine.
And that's after you pay to get it delivered to your property.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
But
Neil, do you guys have like a minimum number of acreage they're going to use, or just whatever job you guys do it?
Clears land, digs ponds. Most of his jobs are clearing land for people building real estate. So it could be a half acre or it could be a 5 acre. He's not a logger. He clears land.
Yeah.
But I've been there. We've burnt piles of pines, and I've been there, and we get the pines out and bring them to my place. I mean, we've done both, but it also helps. They're willing to get rid of them logs also because it's excavator time and time on the machines to sit there and burn and tend that fire with that machine running and watching it. They're paying for your landowner's paying for that. So, I mean, you're pretty much just going to pay the operator, say the guy I work for, his shipping fee. You're not really paying for a log. You're paying for his truck and his time to haul them to you, which is a lot cheaper than calling some logging company that you have to pay for your tonnage on your log.
Yeah.
All right, we got a question up there.
Advice on blade sharpeners?
Yeah.
File.
I think I don't think there's a really
running to start with.
I don't really think there's a bad one out there if you're not in a hurry to sharpen your blades.
No.
I mean, if you want to sharpen a blade, if you want to sharpen your blades quickly, then a BMS 2500 from Wood-Mizer, but the Woodland Mill sharpener works okay for you guys. I got the Hudson sharpener.
Norwood's got a sharpener. Cooks has got a sharpener. Pretty much all of the major sawmill brands have a good sharpener.
Yep.
You just have to find what works well for the blades you have. And obviously, if you're brand specific on blades, which some people are snobs about their blades, some are not. If I put it on my mill and it cuts flat and straight, I don't care what it is.
From from a sawyer standpoint, Mr. Robert used to use a cat claw, and it does not have a lubed sharpening stone, and it heats up the tip of that blade a little bit, and you get a sharpener that uses the lube that doesn't heat that blade up, the tip of that tooth up. It seems to me that they stay sharper a little longer. I don't know if y'all have experienced that or not.
I've
I don't
only
doubt it.
used the Woodvisor one, and I like it.
That he's got the BMS 250. That's what Robert uses now.
Yeah.
It's of course lubed. It's got the oil and everything with it. And I don't know the price on them, but he seems that the blade is a little bit sharper and lasts longer than one that does not have a coolant footer or
The
whatever.
BMS 250 is going to run you about $2,600.
So
That
For hobby
250 setter is going to
woodland
run you
mills.
$3,000.
What's that, Paul?
For someone who's cutting as a hobby, probably a Woodland Mills is a good bet.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah,
There's a lot.
I would agree with that.
I tell people, if you're using 10 blades a week, you ought to be sharpening your own. If you're using 10 blades a month, either pay somebody else to do it or buy you a very inexpensive sharpener. You're not using
Right.
enough blades to invest $3,000 in a sharpener.
So
Right.
right, and here's my advice to you: is I love to play with the blades. I love to play with the kerf, or I love to play with the
Pitch.
bend. I love to play with the angle that I'm sharpening it with. Get you something that you can cheap if you're a hobby. I got the Woodland Mills, that you can set your own angle at. I can buy those 10-degree blades, and I can say, okay, I don't want a 10-degree anymore. I want to sharpen that one at a little bit less, a little bit less, a little bit less, until you find something that you like. That would be my advice.
I'm just the opposite. I don't play with anything. I want it sharp. We got to go back to work.
Right. But you're not
Well,
running.
You're putting
not
thousands
running
of board foot a day through there, so yeah.
Right. You're not running a hobby mill.
Right.
Yeah, my dad was the same way on the sharp stuff. He was like, if I got to take the time to sharpen a blade, I'm not doing it. I'll just put a new blade on there and let's go to work. He was the same way with his chainsaws, and the dude was actually very, very good at sharpening a saw chain.
Listen, I know guys that never sharpen a band, and I don't think that's a good business model. But for me, if I can sharpen it 3 times and throw it away, then I've made plenty of money with that band, and I don't need to mess with it no more. I don't want to sharpen it 6, 8, 10 times. About 3 good uses out of it, 3 sharpenings, 4 uses. If you hadn't made enough money off that band, you're doing something wrong.
That's right.
Yeah.
Right. He is doing something wrong. He's being a hobby sawyer. so he wants to play with that blade. That's all.
When I was hobby sawing, I had blades I'd sharpen 10 times.
Right, and he's not trying to do it for a living.
That's me. Sharpen them until they break. Yep.
I sharpen every one of them until they break almost.
That's what I do.
But
I use
I'm
Mr.
not
Robb
trying to.
sharpen them.
Right.
I use MrJoRobb.
I'm more of a hobby miller than Eric is. I can totally see Eric and Matthew, 3 blades 3 times, throw it away, done. I totally agree.
Depends on the blade too. Some of them are a little better at taking a sharpening. Some of them are not. Depends on where it comes from.
We run the 50,000
There you go.
blade, and we run them extremely tight. And realistically, after 3 sharpenings, it's probably going to break.
Yeah. You're running the 70, right? The LT 70.
Yeah, and I'm running them a lot longer than I used to tell anybody to run blades. I'm running them 1,500, 2,000 board feet between changes. Now on a 35, I'd run them 300 to 500 board feet, and I didn't care if it was sharp enough to cut your finger; it come off.
Right.
Because
That's
I was trying to
exactly
get longevity out of it. This one, I'm not worried about longevity. I got enough horsepower. It'll pull a duller blade, good and flat, good and fast, up to a point.
Yeah.
So my position has changed on blades versus what it used to be.
Yeah, I can run.
I think that's too like.
I can run blades longer on my 2020 with that diesel compared to that 23 horsepower.
Oh yeah, you got a lot more torque with that thing.
Oh yeah, you got that torque. I mean, that's what I was going to say, Neil, is the amount of power that you're pulling. If you're pulling a hobby mill, it's probably not going to have the horsepower to take a blade that's not sharp. And you're going to want to spend the time to make sure either you have a sharp blade by you sharpening the blade, or you buy new bands. I mean, that's
So
pretty much.
Yes, Melanie, I hauled off a duck truck load of broken bands months ago. A duck truck load.
Yes, he gets just as much for scrap.
But
I tried to give them to a guy to do ironwork, forging, and he said, "Well, I've moved. If you'll haul it to my boy up in Asheville," I said, "No, just stop right there. I'm not hauling this scrap anywhere. If you won't come and get it, it'll go to the scrap yard."
It's high carbon steel. I bet it would make good knife blades.
Oh, it is.
You know what I'm saying?
Give
I
it
bet
to
it would.
anybody to come and get it, but I'm not hauling it to you.
I've got a
I've
knife
thought about
blade out
that
of
too,
it.
man, because I got a bunch of bands that I've not used anymore, and I'm like, I haven't taken them to the scrap yard yet, and it's like, I bet those would make a good knife blade one of these, 78 years from now when I'm dead and retired and I can't move anymore. And I can go out and forge a knife blade out of it.
I know
Well,
a guy that
you
makes
guys see-
fillet knives out of them.
You guys see what Rick's done to our refurbished stuff.
Oh yeah, I like it.
That's cool, isn't it?
Yeah, I like it.
Eric, where you at? There you go, Eric.
What?
Where are you at?
I am in Western North Carolina, Melanie.
And that's, I think that, Melanie, that's what kind of makes the show. We got Louisiana there, or Mississippi, whatever you want to call it.
Missiana.
You got me in Chicago. You got those guys in the Adirondacks. Those guys are Southern Adirondacks. Those guys are a little bit north.
Yeah.
North Carolina.
Craig's in Utah, and we
Utah.
all cut something different. We all use different sawmills. Western North Carolina doesn't tell you nothing. Doesn't tell me anything either.
He's out there in the west. He's out there.
You see the other question, John? That was a legit question
Tell her
on there.
I'm 30 minutes from Asheville. Everybody knows where Asheville's at.
Yeah.
South of
Right.
Asheville.
Right there. That's what we're supposed. This is what we're supposed to be talking about right here.
Good
How you
question,
determine
Sean.
the board foot
Yes,
pricing.
yes. Good
Yeah,
job.
it'd
That's what we're
take 2
supposed to be
hours to
talking
answer that question appropriately.
I mean, Eric's
Give it
not
the quick
wrong.
version.
It really depends on you
Your area.
in particular and where you're at and what you're doing.
Yeah,
So,
species.
I mean, what species it is, how many board feet you're going to be cutting. There's a lot
Quality.
that goes into it. I mean, it's not just one set thing. If you do that, you're going to lose money. You can't just set one dead set price and stick with it all the time unless you have a steady influx all the time. Like Eric can probably do this a little more than others just because he has a higher flow than we do, more than likely. So, but I see her back there. She's been trying to nudge her way in there. But no, I mean, it really just depends on you in particular.
So
Listen, you never want to be the cheapest person in your neighborhood. You can do like everybody around here does. They call me and ask what it costs to buy something. And I know most of them when they call. They're too lazy to figure out their own pricing, so they're on Facebook Marketplace making calls trying to figure it out. Set your own pricing. Lead the market in your area, and don't lead it from the top, and don't lead it from the basement. There's always some dummy out there that daddy give him a meal and he ain't got nothing in it, and he's working for beer money, and if he's got that, he's happy. But the first time he blows a motor, he's out of business because he ain't made no money. And then you got the other guy that everything he cuts, he thinks gold, and he's not selling nothing. So you got to find somewhere in the middle that you're happy with, that you can sleep good at night knowing that the customer left your driveway with a quality product and they didn't get screwed over, and hopefully they'll come back.
One thing I had to learn, you do not want to try to get every job, because if you do, you are underpricing yourself.
Yeah.
Don't be a yes man. That's
That's right.
Well, we don't have to worry about being the cheapest. We have the Amish around us, so we're good.
so
Yeah, you're good there.
you need to find out. You need to find out what it costs you to cut a board foot of lumber.
Yeah.
That's the first thing you need to know. And
What's your overhead?
it
What's it gonna
cost me way more to cut a board foot of lumber than it cost Eric and Matthew to cut a board foot of lumber, because they're doing such high volume up there that I can't even begin to compete with that. So I know they can do it way cheaper than I can, because they're putting it out more and more and more and more. I'm going to haul my own logs. I'm spending, you got to pay me $25 an hour to go out there in the woods and cut down a log. Eric and Matthew are buying theirs. You got to figure out how much it costs you to cut it.
Yeah.
And you can go from there.
And
fuel cost, blade cost, everything goes into it.
I see a lot of guys make a mistake. They figure their log at zero because it come off their property. Never figure your raw material at zero. Figure your raw material if you paid market price for it. I don't care if it died over there and you cut it down last week.
Yep.
That log still has a value, whether
100%.
it come off my property or I bought it off a guy's truck.
Well,
Absolutely.
The other thing that I see guys doing is they're like, oh, well, my truck's free because I own it anyway. No, that's not how that works.
Mileage on it. You're putting weight on it.
Right.
Usage
fuel,
on it.
Oil.
I own this tractor anyway, so I'll just use it. I won't figure that cost in there,
And guess what's more expensive than all of that? Time. And you very limited to it.
And if you're not making $25, $35, $45 an hour, you decide what you want to make, and charge appropriately. And don't go
that's
under
one
that.
thing I tell people. They call me, want me to come get logs, want me to do delivery, and I'm saying, look, I got to make this number per hour, whether I'm sawing your log or hauling your wood, and you probably don't want to pay me that much hauling your wood. I got people that will do it. You have to find your own boundaries that work for you. See, the other thing we hadn't talked about is taxes. I pay state sales tax every month, and that sucks. You got to do it.
So
These guys pay all kinds of taxes.
These guys make fun of me right here, Melanie, for taxes, the taxes comment, because I know exactly how much that stack of lumber sitting on my property. I know how much tax I pay on that part of the property that's underneath those logs. And these guys think that that's crazy. And I'm like, that goes into my
I
truck.
don't think it's crazy.
To the foot, to the square foot. I know how much taxes I pay on that property.
So that's why you got $22 a board foot for your wife.
You go to the mailbox like I did the other day. You go to the mailbox, and I got my
that's $10, Eric.
For about $450. There's $750 for a tag. You got to add that in.
Oh,
you got to factor all that in, and then next month there'll be another one for the other truck, and the insurance on that. I mean, there's a lot.
Insurance on your vehicles. Yeah,
it all goes in there. And
John can give you. John's got a video on that, don't you, John? You did all that.
I have a very bad video on that, but I need to get a better one.
Do you want to run a real business, or you just want to run a hobby? Now, if you're just running a hobby and you're working a full-time job, what you do on your hobby is immaterial. And I did that for many years. Me and Matthew go out and work, and whatever we made, I'd go buy something with it. I'd pay him out of my pocket. I had plenty of money. I didn't need what we were milling, and I'd buy a tractor, skid steer, piece of equipment with it. But, that's the difference between hobby fun and then going into full business. I don't have a corporate job income to back up on. If this job don't create it, then I'm out looking for a job next week.
Right.
That's how you determine whether you're going to make it too. I mean, I watched a little bit of the podcast with, the Lumber Capital Log Yard, and, that mindset of, if you really want to see where you're at, burn the boats.
Yeah.
You got no way back. Yep. So, that's, you got to have a plan of what you're trying to go out and get.
Well, Eric, you're an LLC, aren't you, or incorporated?
Yeah, LLC. My only lifeline is my CDL that I keep up to date in case I ever needed it.
I get rid of mine.
There's a job there if I had to go get it.
My lifeline is my fading brain, as I forget stuff every day now.
No, write it down. I got eight clipboards in there that I take orders on, and I got one that I keep a cut list on, then I got another one I keep a kiln dry and motor planing list on because you can't remember it all.
90 cents
I got
a
Tim.
You got Tim?
I got Tim.
I still work.
Anybody want to answer, Melanie?
How are we getting
Facebook
business
Marketplace, by word of mouth, by
Social
by
media,
customers coming back.
YouTube.
YouTube.
My best phone call is, hey, John Smith told me to call you.
Mhm.
That's the
Recommendation.
best phone call I get is one of my previous customers told a new customer to call me.
If you make a good product, that's where you're going to get those. If you're cutting quality stuff, and that's what you do. I mean, you focus on, like Eric was saying, the best quality stuff. When it leaves your lot, you know you gave that customer a good quality product, and more times than not, even if they got to pay a higher price, they're going to come back because they know what they're going to get when they come to you.
Answer your stinking phone, return your phone calls, check your email, check your messenger, check your Facebook messenger, check your Instagram messenger, more than once a day or two, and keep up with your customers.
I'll tell you what, Rick is such a good salesman, Eric. The other day we went to our stump dump. It's back open again. He found this piece of driftwood, right? I'm going to bring that back. What are you bring that junk back for? It's a stick. He brings it back, and he sells it the other day for $10. I said, are you kidding me? He goes, no, the guy wanted the stick. He loved the stick. I'm like, you're kidding me. It looked like a piece of driftwood that washed up on the beach. No joke.
Hey,
I
I sold. They say there's a butt for every seat. I guess there's an owner for every stick.
Well, he always tells me, don't throw nothing away because somebody will buy it.
That's why we have a crafter's box.
I had to tell you guys that was crazy.
Yeah, so Rick and Tim have Crafter's Box. Paul and Andy, yeah, you guys aren't marketing it, selling anything right now, are you?
No.
They're selling a lot of hobby wood. The guy we were making fun of for selling hobby wood. That's Paul and Andy right there.
Yep.
Eric and Matthew already answered that one. MrJoRobb's answered. Neil's said Facebook Marketplace too.
Yeah.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
right.
Yeah. And everybody said word of mouth.
Yeah, I personally know a few contractors also that I've reached out to going
You
into
gotta network yourself.
Yeah.
You need to be your own best, advocate. If you're in business, you should have business cards. And when you're out and about and you meet somebody, pull your wallet out and give them a stinking card. Got your name, address, and YouTube, and all on it. You get a lot of repeat business from that. These are what, $70 for 1,500 of them or something. I mean, they're not overly expensive.
Paul, Melanie wants you to talk more. Say something.
So
You don't know what your voice sounds like.
he never talks.
He did talk. He spoke earlier. I heard it.
No, I know. We have to pry it out of Paul and Andy, and we have to pry it out of Craig sometimes. But they get so that is also the whole great thing about this is when this subject is about hobby mills, you know what I mean? Paul and Andy are right in there. And we're quiet. You know what I mean? Listening to him talk about the hobby mill and the way that he does it. And when it's about business, Eric's right in there, leading the top of the business profile. And we all, I don't think I said 2 words last month, and that's hard to believe, but
you are chatting about it tonight. That's great.
It just depends on the subject
thing,
too.
Yeah. Another thing too is Paul and Andy are very knowledgeable about trees themselves.
Right.
Like diseases and stuff like that. They're very knowledgeable about trees.
Well, you could make a lot of money hobby sawing if you saw the right stuff for your area.
Exactly.
You don't have to. Matthew and I do a lot of production milling. I took a job the other day, 2,700 board feet of 1x8s, 16 foot long. there's not a lot of profit in that. But if you're sitting out there sawing some high grade walnut, some high grade oak, some high grade maple, yeah, you're not doing 10,000 board feet a week, but you're out there making $25 a board foot for white oak.
Right.
22.
Rick, you want to answer that for Sean? I think he's a new sawyer.
Which one's that?
Somebody just
That
took it
question. Yeah.
right
Oh
there.
yeah. Yeah, I can answer that one because we had a similar situation. We had a guy bring us a bunch of logs he wanted beams out of. And I asked him if he wanted the offcuts. He said no. So I charged him 10 cents less a board foot for us to be able to keep the offcuts, which we made 1 inch thick live edge slabs out of for the crafter's box. And everything that we sawed off those logs, we have sold. And I think I probably think we made out really well off of that too. So we charged board foot for the log, but we kept we dropped our price 10 cents a board foot for sawing his logs, and we kept the offcuts.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
That's
It
what I
was a
usually.
win-win for us.
That's what I usually do. Also, offcut. Somebody wants something special. I run tongue and groove and stuff like that, and anything I can make, especially if it's going into stacks I've already got started, I'll cut them down and put them in my pile. Because most of the time they want beams, they don't need any of the smaller stuff or want any of it.
In my case, there's two sides of that story. If it's a customer log, more than likely, when they tell me what they want, I'm gonna tell them what they get back.
You're
Well, I want a 6x8. Well, what do you want with the rest? You want 1x6s, 2x6s? You know, you're getting it back. So what would serve you best? Now, if it's my log and we're doing beams, you're paying the premium right up front because you're getting the beam out of that log, and then whatever waste off of it is my benefit, and it's not for you to worry about.
Yeah, some people don't want it on them offcuts. But I understand what you're talking about too, though. They get it regardless. So just put it on the trailer.
They're gonna get it back.
Is that a straight trailer or curved trailer?
Well, if they're building anything, they're gonna need some extra 2x4s. They're gonna need some extra 1x6s for bracing or whatever. And if you explain it to them, they comprehend and understand that, you know, you bought me a beautiful log. I can cut you some beautiful boards to go along with your big beams that, you know, you can utilize in your project. So it's a little teaching moment to let them know that I'm not taking a 24-inch log and cutting you an 8x8 out of it and do all that work and not get paid for it.
Right.
Well, guys, I think I got to run. We're going about 2.5 hours here, so.
Are we?
Yeah.
Already?
Yeah.
Thank you, Paul.
Wow, time is flown.
Joshua, we appreciate you coming on tonight with us.
Oh, no problem. No problem.
Yeah.
It's been you guys have actually been a blast, man.
Sorry, I forgot my hat tonight. My head's shining.
Oh yeah. I mean, I need a haircut, man. This is the longest my hair's been in years.
I got one. Well, I said, "You want a cut?" I said, "No, I want it." When they look at me and say, "Oh God, you got a haircut."
Well, we appreciate everybody that showed up tonight in the audience, and we had a lot of audience participation. We appreciate that also.
Thank you.
Thank you guys for all showing up. We're here the third Saturday of every month at 8:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
If you guys like what you saw,
Anybody-
tonight, subscribe to all these guys' channels in here.
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
for sure.
Help us.
I think I'm subscribed to pretty much everybody on here. I know I am. And I mean, I try to watch as much content as I can, and it's hard.
Or
Yeah.
Next month is Chris Carlson, right? In the woodyard?
In the woodyard. Okay.
In the
Woodyard.
woodyard. It's going to be
Okay.
a firewood
Next month's guest.
mostly, right?
Firewood. Good.
Yep.
All right, guys. Well, everybody, thanks for tuning in, and we will see you next month, third Saturday, 8:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And everybody have a good one. And I guess we're out.
All right. Thank you.
See you guys.
Good night, everybody.
All right, everybody hang in there for a minute.
We want to thank everybody for stopping by the show tonight. And remember, it's the third Saturday of every month that we all gather and run the show. See you later, guys.